Chapter 2940. Are you going to leave again? Can't you stay for a few more days? Longao wasn't an idiot. How could he not know Yunshi's attitude towards him? It would be a lie if he said he wasn't moved at all. However, could he really accept Yunshi's feelings? Absolutely not. Sister Yun. How could Yunshi not know what Longao wanted to say? Before Longao could say anything, Yunshi had already said, "Brother Long, could it be that you really don't have any feelings for me?" Yes. Although he couldn't accept it, Longao didn't want to lie to Sister Yun. Yunshi's face lit up. She immediately said, "If that's the case, I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to tell you one thing. No matter what danger it is, I, Yunshi, am not afraid." Looking at Sister Yun, Longao sighed deeply. Since Sister Yun had said so, what else could he say? 3 days later, I will leave Cosmos City. Okay. In the end, Longao's heart softened. He couldn't bear to let down Sister Yun's feelings. However, this matter couldn't be leaked out. If Nangong Chun and the others knew about it, the consequences would be unimaginable. When it came to the Yi family, neither the Yun family nor the Ling family knew that it was Longao who did it. 3 days later, under Yunshi's reluctance, Longao finally left Cosmos City. Originally, he wanted to deal with Nangong Chun. Unfortunately, Nangong Fengyun never left Blackrock City after the 10,000 Years Fire Lotus was stolen. It was impossible for him to make a move in Blackrock City. He might even end up worse off. Following the establishment of the Pill Pavilion, its reputation grew. It brought Dragon City back to life. It was even more prosperous than before. The Pill Hall still turned a blind eye to the Pill Pavilion in Dragon City. As long as the Pill Pavilion didn't leave Dragon City, it would never be able to threaten the Pill Hall's position. Just as Longao was thinking of a way to deal with Nangong Chun, Han Yin suddenly came to find him. Out of curiosity, Longao didn't continue to stay in Blackrock City. He immediately returned to Dragon City. In the lobby. "Big Sister Han, why did you call me back in such a hurry?" Han Yin said in surprise. "Longao, the Heaven's Path has opened. If you want to increase your strength as quickly as possible, you have to enter the Heaven's Path." Heaven's Road? Longao was very unfamiliar with Heaven's Road, and did not know what it was. "Sister Han, what is Heaven's Road?" Of course, Han Yin knew that Longao had just stepped into the primal chaos realm, and it had only been a few years since then. He definitely wouldn't know what the Heaven's Path was. "Brother Long, the Heavenly Path is divided into 2 layers. The first layer can only be entered by low gods, mid gods, and high gods. After entering, not only will you be able to obtain all sorts of treasures and fortuitous encounters, your strength will even rise far above the outside world." He nodded. How could Longao not go to such a good place? "Big Brother Dongfang, Big Sister Han, do you know where the entrance to Heaven's Road is? Every heaven domain has them." He was startled. According to the 2 of them, not only could Heaven's Path be entered by martial artists from the lower 33 heaven domains, but even martial artists from the middle 33 heaven domains and upper 33 heaven domains could enter. What did this mean? The primal chaos realm's 99 heaven domains had endless geniuses. It seemed that the Heaven's Path was definitely not simple. Before Longao could ask, Dongfang Tuing continued, "Brother Long, every time the Heaven's Path opens, there is no time limit. When entering the Heaven's Path, other than dealing with the dangers of the Heaven's Path itself, you have to deal with the martial artists from the various heaven domains. Those who can come out alive are few and far between." Longao had guessed this point. "Big Brother Dongfang, you just said the lower layer of the Heaven's Path. What about the upper layer?" "Only Master Gods can enter the upper layer." "Could it be that God Kings and above can't enter the Heaven's Path?" "Of course not. The Heaven's Path's restriction is that God Kings and above, including God Kings, can enter. If you force your way in, you will be killed by the Heaven's Path." "I see." Longao could not wait to enter the Heaven's Path. If he could become a superior god in the heaven's path, or even break through to the master god realm, that would be the best. I wonder where the entrance of the heaven's path is in the Black Stone domain? Black Stone Mountain Range. Longao was definitely familiar with the Black Stone Mountain Range. As the largest mountain range in the Black Stone domain, there were dangers everywhere in the Black Stone Mountain Range. It was also the gathering place of spiritual beasts and divine beasts. Not to mention ordinary people, even god-kings would not dare to casually step in. When the heaven's path will open in a month's time. A month's time was nothing for martial artists. No matter who it was, they would place great importance on the heaven's path. Although the heaven's path was filled with dangers, once one came out alive, their strength would greatly increase. Not to mention Dragon City, even the city lord of the Black Stone City, Nangong Chen, was preparing to enter the heaven's path. Because according to the rules of the heaven's path, master gods could enter the upper levels of the heaven's path. He had been preparing to be stuck at the peak master god realm for many years. If he could make use of this opportunity to break through to the God King realm, it would be the best thing. Everyone was preparing. In the 99 heaven domains, those who wanted to enter the heaven's path had already gone to the entrance. After all, there were 99 entrances to the heaven's path. Each time it opened, it would only last for a few hours. Sometimes, most people would not even be able to enter the heaven's path. In the end, there were too many people who wanted to enter the heaven's path. Brother Long, although many people want to enter the heaven's path, 80% of them are unwilling to enter. Because every time they enter the heaven's path, at least 90% of them will fall in the heaven domain. Big Brother Dongfang, Sister Han, the two of you must be careful in the upper levels of the heaven's path. According to my guess, Nangong Chen will bring a large number of experts into the upper levels of the heaven's path. At that time, he will definitely surround and kill the two of you, because he knows that only by killing the two of you can he deal with me. Hani nodded and said, "Of course we know what you're talking about. But this time, Nangong Chen will not let go of such an opportunity. Not only will he deal with us, but he will also deal with you. I'll kill whoever comes." Longao couldn't wait for Nangong Chen to send more people. At that time, he would be able to eliminate the root of the problem. Not only could he contend against a high god with his strength, even Xiao He could easily devour a high god. But this was also true. After entering the lower levels of the heaven's path, he was practically an invincible existence. Unless a high master god came, he wouldn't need to be afraid of anyone. Chapter 2941. The Heaven's Road was about to open. Longao naturally wouldn't want to continue dealing with Nangong Chen. Although there was still a month before the Heaven's Road opened, the three of them decided to head to the Blackstone Mountains in advance. Every time the Heaven's Road opened, there were too many warriors entering. 60% of them couldn't enter. With the speed of the three of them, they had already smoothly entered the Blackstone Mountain Range in a short few days. The Blackstone Mountains was the largest mountain range in the Blackstone Heavenly region. When Longao and the other two entered the Blackstone Mountains, they realized that there were people everywhere. Some were in groups, some were alone. The Blackstone Mountains were already extremely large. Even so, they could still see people everywhere. No matter who it was, no one dared to step into the depths of the Blackstone Mountains. If they provoked a powerful divine beast, they might not even be able to leave the heavenly region alive, let alone enter the heavenly region. Every time the Heaven's Road opens, countless warriors die. It's really a tragedy. Dongfang Tuing sighed. Nangong Chen really came? Ever since they entered the Blackstone Mountains, Longao had been paying attention to Nangong Chen and the others. As expected, not only did Nangong Chen come, but he also brought many overgods, including high gods. It was obvious what Nangong Chen wanted to do once they stepped into the Heaven's Road. If it was anyone else, they would have wet their pants in fear when facing such a powerful opponent. Only Longao. Not to mention Nangong Chen. He didn't even fear Nangong Fengfeng. When Longao and the other two discovered Nangong Chen also discovered Longao and the other two. They're coming. After a short while, Nangong Chen and the others arrived in front of Longao and the other two. They sneered and said, Longao, I hope you can come out alive after entering the Heaven's Road. What did that mean? Han Yin's face suddenly turned cold. She said coldly, Nangong Chen, can I assume that you're threatening the people of the Pill Hall? Ha ha ha, Elder Han, you're overthinking. I'm just reminding the three of you that the Heaven's Road is full of dangers. Once you step in, your life and death will be up to the heavens. I hope you can come out alive. Han Yin was furious. Longao waved his hand and stopped Han Yin. He smiled and said, Sister Han, if a dog bites you, are you going to bite back? Poochie. Han Yin couldn't hold back her laughter, and the people around her laughed as well. Many people knew about the enmity between Longao and the Blackrock City's city lord, but they never thought that the enmity between the two would reach such a stage. What are you? How dare you speak to the city lord like this? Who the hell are you? How dare you talk to me like that? One of the high gods behind Longao looked extremely furious. He took a step forward and arrived in front of Longao and the other two in an instant. He sent a palm strike towards Longao. The Jindan domain enveloped Longao. The reason why high gods were superior to mid-gods was because of their Jindan domain. Absolute suppression. Everyone thought that Longao would be at a disadvantage this time. Originally, they thought that Elder Han and Palace Master Dongfang would help him. But what was the result? No matter if it was Han Yin or Dongfang Tuing, they didn't make a move. They just watched coldly. What was going on? Was there something fishy going on? Nangong Chen didn't make a move either. He just watched coldly. In his opinion, the reason why the two didn't make a move was because they were afraid of him or his father. If that was the case, he could let his subordinates teach Longao a good lesson. Nangong Chen had already decided that if Longao dared to step into the heavenly road, he would definitely kill him. Not only did he have to deal with Longao, but he also had to kill Han Yin and Dongfang Tuing while they were in the heavenly road. He definitely couldn't do that outside, but after entering the heavenly road, it was a completely different matter. Cut the weeds and eliminate the roots to prevent future troubles. Because of this, Nangong Chen brought many high gods and master gods into the heavenly road, no matter if they were from the upper or lower levels. It should be more than enough to deal with the three of them. This person was vicious and merciless. Even if he didn't dare to kill him because of the pill hall, he still had to teach him a good lesson. He might even cripple him. That was why there was an accident. But what was the result? When this person released his golden core domain, Longao wasn't affected at all. With the release of his primordial spirit imprisonment, Longao could do it without anyone noticing. A miserable scream resounded through the entire Blackstone mountain range. Before the crowd could react, the high god who attacked just now had already fallen to the ground. His whole body was trembling and he looked extremely tragic. In the blink of an eye, he had already gone crazy. What was going on? Everyone's expression changed when they saw the trembling high god lying on the ground. This was especially true for Nangong Chen. His face was as gloomy as it could get. Dongfang Tuing, Han Yin, are you looking for trouble? Not only Nangong Chen, even the others thought that with Longao's strength as a mid-god, how could he defeat a high god in one move? Even they didn't know what was going on. The only explanation was that it wasn't done by Longao, but by the two master gods beside Longao. Han Yin and Dongfang Tuing didn't deny it. Of course, they knew what was going on. Although Longao was only a mid-god, he had already comprehended his own golden core domain. It was just that the two of them were very curious. They didn't know how Longao did it. He was actually able to defeat a high god without anyone noticing. With a single glance, They knew that this high god was completely crippled. Nangong Chen, as the city lord of Blackstone City, how shameless are you? You actually allowed a high god to defeat Longao. It seems like you really want to provoke my pill hall. Do you want me to report to the pill hall and tell them everything that happened here? If it was just Dongfang Tuing alone, Nangong Chen wouldn't be afraid. However, Han Yin's situation was a little different. Han Yin's position in the pill hall was very high. It was even rumored that Han Yin might be the daughter of the pill hall's hall master. If that was the case, once this matter was known by the pill hall, it would be equivalent to provoking the pill hall. Unless there was no other choice, Nangong Chen would never provoke the pill hall. Otherwise, he wouldn't have let go of Longao so easily when he had already trapped him. Nangong Chen's expression changed again and again. It was simply gloomy to the extreme. He stared at the three people in front of him and sneered, "Very good, very good. I will settle this debt with you. I hope you can leave the heavenly road alive. We will wait and see. Nangong Chen, I hope you won't disappoint me." Longao didn't have the slightest fear. So what if the other party was a master god? So what if he was the city lord of Blackstone City? Once he stepped into the heavenly road, it was really unknown who would survive. He even hoped to meet people from Blackstone City. Chapter 2942. He didn't care at all. Nangong Chen didn't want to make a fool of himself. He immediately turned around and left. Everyone's gaze towards Longao became more and more disdainful. A person who only relied on the pill hall stepped into the heavenly road. It was obvious what kind of consequences he would face. "Longao, how powerful is your golden core realm?" Han Yin and Dongfang Tuing were shocked. They never expected Longao's golden core realm to be so powerful. Previously, Longao fought against 6 and killed 6 superior gods from the City Lord Mansion. They still didn't know what happened. He smiled. "Although I have comprehended the golden core realm, it's impossible for me to kill a superior god in one move." Then why? The reason why I was able to succeed just now was because the opponent was careless. He didn't take me seriously at all. Dongfang Tuing and Han Yin nodded in agreement. If the opponent wasn't careless, even they wouldn't be able to defeat him in one move without anyone noticing. "Sister Han, brother Dongfang, other than comprehending the golden core realm, I also have a divine ability, primordial spirit imprisonment." Towards the two people, Longao also did not have the slightest bit of concealment and spoke about the matter of him possessing the primordial spirit imprisonment. They were shocked. Of course, they knew what primordial spirit imprisonment meant. No wonder Longao could defeat the opponent in one move. He had such a powerful divine ability. "Brother Long, with this divine ability alone, you're number 1 under the Overgod." The two of them were originally worried for Longao, but they did not expect that Longao actually possessed such a heaven-defying ability. Even if he entered the heavenly road, he could also travel unimpeded all the way. No one could match him. As for Nangong Chen and the Overgods, they couldn't enter the lower levels. "Brother Long, even if you have the primordial spirit imprisonment divine ability, you can't let your guard down. The heavenly road is full of danger. Many people have died in the heavenly road itself." How could Longao not know what Sister Han was talking about? "Sister Han, brother Dongfang, you have to be careful too." Nangong Fengyun was already a peak divine king, so he couldn't step into heaven's road. However, in order to kill Longao, Nangong Fengyun didn't just send out many superior gods from the City Lord's mansion and the Domain Lord's mansion. He even contacted many domain lords. With Nangong Fengyun's status, he still had some face. On the other hand, Longao was just a mere mid-level deity. This was not a big deal to the domain chief's manners. Before entering Heaven's Road, Longao had already been targeted by countless people. Unknowingly, a month passed in the blink of an eye. The opening day had just arrived, and the entrance to Heaven's Road was already slowly opening. It was a huge white spatial gate. There was an uproar. No one hesitated and immediately rushed towards the white space gate. Each one of them was faster than the last, and their speed soared to the extreme. Everyone was very clear that being able to stand at the entrance did not mean that they would definitely be able to enter Heaven's Road. The majority of the people were unable to step into Heaven's Road. No matter what, the Heaven's Road would only open for a few hours. Once the hours passed, no one would be able to enter the Heaven's Road. Everyone became incomparably crazy. Before entering Heaven's Road, the battle had already begun. Longao and the other two entered Heaven's Road at the same time. There were two entrances to Heaven's Road. One was the lower-level entrance, and the other was the upper-level entrance. Dongfang, Tu Ying and Han Yin definitely went to the upper-level entrance, while Longao went to the lower-level entrance. Everyone in the Blackstone heavenly region, regardless of whether they were mid-level deities or low-level deities, began to madly attack Longao. No one dared to go against Nangong Fengyun's secret order. Moreover, if they could successfully kill Longao, then in front of Nangong Fengyun, not only would they be able to obtain a great reward, but they would also be able to make the domain chief owe them a favor. Such a good thing, how could anyone not be willing to do it? With the Xian Yuan sword in hand, Longao did not show any mercy at all. The first sword of the 9 god-slaying swords was constantly swung. At this time, Longao did not show any mercy either. Anyway, in such a chaotic situation, even if he used his Jindan realm, no one would discover it. Facing low-level deities and mid-level deities, Longao basically killed them instantly. Anyone who came close to him would be killed by the sword qi in his hand. In such a situation, it was a complete massacre. Even facing high-level deities, Longao used both his Jindan realm and primordial spirit imprisonment to attack. The Xian Yuan sword in his hand was the most terrifying weapon. Wherever it passed, there was no one who could resist it. In just a few seconds, Longao had already killed thousands of warriors. What kind of concept was this? Looking at the entrance that was less than 10 meters wide, Longao was really depressed to the extreme. In front of the densely packed crowd, it was really a difficult thing to force his way through. If this was the case, then if he wanted to enter the space door and enter Heaven's Road, there would be no hope at all. He definitely could not miss this opportunity. Blackie swallow it? He absolutely could not go on like this. According to Sister Han and Brother Dongfang, the time that Heaven's Road opened was uncertain. Sometimes it opened once every few years, and sometimes it opened once every few 100 million years. If he could not enter Heaven's Road this time, who knew how long he would have to wait to enter Heaven's Road again? In desperation, Longao could only use Blackie's power. A huge monster instantly appeared and opened a path for Longao. No matter who it was, it directly swallowed them, no matter if they were mid-level deities or high-level deities. It swallowed them all. What kind of divine beast is this? Quickly retreat. Seeing the huge monster swallowing everything, everyone was scared silly. Even if they wanted to enter Heaven's Road, they had to first protect their own lives. Otherwise, everything else would be nonsense. The surrounding people began to make way for Longao. In a short while, a path was opened for Longao. Delighted, Longao quickly walked out and disappeared from the entrance in the blink of an eye. Just as Longao and Blackie disappeared from the entrance, everyone was stunned for a full 3 minutes. Only then did they once again rush into the entrance. After 6 hours, the space door closed once more. Less than a third of the tens of millions of people were able to enter Heaven's Road. Those who were unable to enter Heaven's Road were all dejected. Those who were unable to enter Heaven's Road would have to wait until the next time it opened. Our luck is really bad this time. Who knows how long we'll have to wait for the next time Heaven's Road opens? It's all because of Longao. If he had not suddenly released a divine beast that could swallow martial artists, perhaps we would have already entered Heaven's Road. If he won't let us enter Heaven's Road, then I'll destroy his Dragon City. If you're not convinced, then let's go to Dragon City together. Let's go. We've been together for so many years. Destroying Dragon City is too easy. If he won't let us be happy, then we'll make him lose everything. Chapter 2943. Dragon City. A few days after the Heavenly Road was closed, tens of thousands of warriors gathered outside Dragon City. They were all furious because in everyone's opinion, they couldn't enter the Heavenly Road because of Longao. If they didn't kill Longao, how could they face themselves? In everyone's opinion, not to mention tens of thousands of warriors joining forces, even 1% of them could easily destroy the entire Dragon City. I, Luo Qinghe, want all the pills of the Elixir Pavilion. Luo Qinghe was a peak superior god. He was the strongest warrior here because all the lords had entered the Heavenly Road. All of them despised each other to the extreme. One could imagine the value of the Elixir Pavilion's pills. To take them all for himself was simply arrogant to the extreme. Killing intent surged. Tens of thousands of warriors rushed towards Dragon City. Their faces were filled with anger, but more of them were filled with greed. Just when everyone thought that it would be easy to destroy Dragon City suddenly appeared. The situation suddenly changed. Dragon City suddenly released a layer of terrifying power that instantly enveloped the entire Dragon City. From afar, Dragon City seemed to be enveloped in a layer of white air. The 9 Revolutions Chaos Array. Just what level of array formation was, even Longao himself did not know. Even though they knew that Dragon City was protected by a formation, no one took it seriously. Tens of thousands of warriors rushed into Dragon City. In just a few minutes, the tens of thousands of warriors had all disappeared without a trace. Dragon City was still Dragon City. After the tens of thousands of warriors entered the city, they didn't enter Dragon City as expected. Instead, they entered a boundless space. Is this a formation? F***ck. So what if it's a formation? As long as it's not a level 4 formation, we have nothing to fear. The tens of thousands of warriors didn't take the formation seriously at all. Their eyes were filled with mockery. Previously, Longao had fought with a level 3 formation master. Therefore, everyone thought that Longao was only a level 3 formation master. A level 3 formation set up by a level 3 formation master wasn't enough to deal with tens of thousands of warriors. The result? Claps of thunder rang out. Countless lightning bolts struck down. Not only that, the surrounding air began to condense into puppets that began to wildly attack the tens of thousands of warriors. Longao was worried that the 9 Revolution Chaos formation he set up wouldn't be able to protect Dragon City. Therefore, in addition to the 9 Revolution Chaos formation, he also set up hundreds of level 4 formations. What did this mean? A level 4 formation master. At this moment, everyone recognized that the formation they were trapped in was not a level 3 formation at all, but a level 4 formation. Everyone was scared out of their wits. Many people recognized the seriousness of the matter. If they did not leave the array as soon as possible, there was only one result waiting for them, and that was to be obliterated by the array. It was easier said than done to break the formation and leave. Among the tens of thousands of martial artists, there must be an array master, but there was no 4th level array master. Even if it was a 3rd level array master, wanting to break through hundreds of 4th level array masters was like a fool's dream. It was almost impossible. Not to mention, Longao also arranged a 9 Revolution Chaos array in Dragon City. The array revolved and interlocked. People fell one after another. There was no way to shut down the formation in Dragon City. In other words, unless Longao personally returned to close the formation, otherwise, once the formation was opened, the formation would only close if everyone within the formation was killed. Setting up such a terrifying array formation, Longao did it just in case. Unless a powerful divine king like Nangong Fengyun came to break the formation, even a level 4 formation master would not be able to break through the 9 revolution chaos formation and hundreds of level 4 formations. As for Nangong Fengyun, Longao was sure that he would not come to break the formation. As the domain lord of the Blackstone Heavenly Region, Nangong Fengyun valued his reputation more than anything else. How could he casually attack Dragon City's formation? Other than his reputation, Nangong Fengyun was also afraid of the Pill Hall. In less than 2 hours, more than half of the 70,000 martial artists had been lost. If this continued, it would only take another 2 hours at most for all the remaining cultivators to perish. To be able to kill more than 70,000 warriors in just 4 hours was an impossible feat in itself. The second day, the news that 70,000 warriors were trapped in Dragon City's formation and were all killed had spread across the entire Blackstone Heavenly Region. Those who received the news were all shocked and could not believe it. Everyone knew that old Ao was a level 3 formation master. However, they did not expect that the formation Longao had set up in Dragon City could kill 70,000 warriors. What kind of concept was that? Originally, many people wanted to seize the Elixir Pavilion when Longao and the other two were not in Dragon City. However, they did not expect Dragon City to have such a terrifying formation. Those who had such thoughts immediately gave up the idea. Blackstone City, Domain Lord's Manor. Since the loss of the 10,000-year Fire Lotus, Nangong Fengyun had been investigating who had touched the 10,000-year Fire Lotus. The 10,000-year Fire Lotus, which was about to mature, was lost due to his negligence. He regretted it very much, but in this case it was too late to regret. Nangong Fengyun did not expect this when he received the news from Dragon City. His face was gloomy. He knew clearly that Dragon City's formation could kill 70,000 warriors. A simple level 3 formation would not be able to do that. Unless it was a level 4 formation and a very powerful level 4 formation master. Could it be that Longao was already a level 4 formation master? It should be impossible. How could Nangong Fengyun not know that Longao was a level 3 formation master? In such a short period of time, even if Longao was very talented in formations, it was impossible for him to become a level 4 formation master. In his opinion, Dragon City's level 4 formation should be related to the Pill Hall. The Pill Hall really valued Longao. Not only did they protect Longao to go against him, they even helped him to set up such a heaven-defying level 4 formation that could kill 70,000 warriors. Nangong Fengyun was very clear about the significance of such a formation. Putting aside the problem of his reputation, he couldn't even go to the Dragon City. Even if he disregarded his reputation and went to break the formation, he might end up losing the rice used to lure him. Level 4 Formation Master, or even Level 5 Formation Master. However, there were no such Formation Masters in the Blackstone Heavenly Region. He had to go to the Middle Heavenly Region to find one. Thinking of this, Nangong Fengyun immediately left the Domain Lord's Manor and went to the Middle Heavenly Region to find a stronger Formation Master. Chapter 2944. Heaven's Road. No one knew how Heaven's Road appeared. But every time Heaven's Road opened, there was no time limit. Sometimes it would open once every few years. Sometimes it would not open even once in a few 100 million years. Once Heaven's Road opened, everyone in the Chaos Realm's 99 heaven domains would enter Heaven's Road. Heaven's Road was divided into 2 layers. Only Master Gods could enter the upper layer. The lower layer was for lower gods, middle gods, and high gods. Legends said. Inside Heaven's Road, there were countless opportunities, but it was also filled with danger. Of everyone who entered, if even 1% of them could leave alive, it would be considered lucky. Longao had just stepped into the entrance, and in the blink of an eye, he had already entered Heaven's Road. The dark sky gave people a stifling feeling. Holding the Xianyuan sword, Shao Chun had just landed on the heavenly road when he casually slashed out a few times. Sword chi crisscrossed and streaks of sword chi quickly shot out, bringing with them a bloody mist. Third-rank spirit beast Night Wolf. He was startled. Longao naturally knew that Heaven's Road was filled with danger. Legends said that people who entered had to be on guard at all times. If they were not careful, they would lose their heads. Even so, Longao still did not expect that Heaven's Road's danger would be so terrifying. In front of him was a black mass. There were third-rank night wolves everywhere. At a glance, there were at least a few million of them. What kind of concept was this? Even if he did not fear third-rank spirit beasts, such a large number of night wolves would tire him to death. Ever since he entered Heaven's Road, Longao had already sensed that because of the rules of Heaven's Road, he could not enter Chaos Palace. In other words, he could only fight against countless third-rank night wolves. Holding Xianyuan's sword, he used the first move of the 9 god-slaying swords. Sword after sword, it was airtight. Longao's sword was as fast as lightning. Sword chi flew out, bringing with it a bloody mist. Even so, there were too many night wolves. It was impossible to kill them all. Big brother, let me help you. In order to deal with the dangers of Heaven's Road, Longao had already summoned Little Black. He had guessed that he could not enter Chaos Palace, and after entering Heaven's Road, it was true. Little Black was already a peak high god, and even had the swallowing heaven divine ability. Let's end this quickly. Blackie's figure flashed out like a bolt of lightning. It opened its mouth wide and began to devour the surrounding night wolves. If it were any other spirit beast, they would have fled in fright upon encountering such a terrifying heaven-devouring beast. However, the night wolves refused to leave even when they saw their tribesmen being devoured one by one. They were like moths to a flame. If this continued, even Little Black would not be able to withstand the attacks of thousands of night wolves. Heavenly Flame. Of course, Longao knew the severity of the situation. The burning heart flame lotus appeared in his right hand and he started to throw it at the surrounding night wolves. There was no need to mention the strength of the mysterious flame, not to mention the burning heart flame lotus, which was ranked 7th. Its strength was not to be underestimated. Even so, the night wolves were still unwilling to leave. More and more night wolves rushed over from all directions. The night wolves that Longao and Blackie had killed were like a drop in the bucket to the enormous night wolf pack. This was not a solution at all. It absolutely could not go on like this. A flame suddenly appeared in Longao's palm. It was the first-ranked Primal Chaos Flame. Ever since he obtained the Primal Chaos Flame, Longao had never used it. He did not know how powerful it was. This was the first time he used it. The power of the Primal Chaos Flame was far above the Burning Heart Flame Lotus. The terrifying flame was like a flame king descending and directly enveloping all the night wolves. Little Black, let's go. The power of the Primal Chaos Flame was indeed stronger than the Burning Heart Flame Lotus. Even so, it was still unable to destroy all the night wolves. If this continued, he and Little Black would never be able to walk out of it. Just like this, under the constant attacks of the 2 heavenly flames, Longao brought Little Black to open a bloody path. What made him curious was why so many martial artists were sent into Heaven's Road, but he was the only one here. Where were the others? The only thing Longao was sure of was that Heaven's Road was boundless. Even if countless martial artists from the 99 heaven domains stepped into it, it was still not enough for Heaven's Road. After killing for a full 2 hours, Longao finally managed to carve out a bloody path. Until now, Longao finally knew why the night wolves were like moths to a flame. In the end, it was because of his bad luck. The place where he was sent into Heaven's Road just happened to be the territory of the night wolves. Therefore, they were not willing to lose their territory. The night wolves would definitely not be willing to take half a step back. Little Black's body could become bigger or smaller. The current Little Black was only the size of a palm. He sat quietly on Longao's shoulder. He seemed to be quite tired. Little Black, can you find the treasures in Heaven's Road? Longao had already asked Dongfang Tu Ing and Han Yin about Heaven's Road. However, the two of them did not know how Heaven's Road appeared. Perhaps even God Emperors did not know. However, the two of them were very sure that Heaven's Road was full of opportunities and dangers. If one was lucky, one could obtain opportunities. If one was unlucky, one would face danger. Little Black nodded and said with a smile, "Big brother, don't worry. I can find the ordinary treasures in Heaven's Road for you. However, I have a feeling that there is something calling me in Heaven's Road. It seems to be related to my inheritance." Longao was very surprised. Of course, he knew what Xiao He meant. If that was the case, then no matter what, he had to help Xiao He obtain it. After all, Xiao He's inheritance was no small matter. Just the devouring divine ability that he had inherited was already very heaven-defying. Xiao He was only a pinnacle higher god, but he could forcefully devour beginner-level and mid-level lords. What did that mean? Little Black, can you sense where the thing calling you in Heaven's Road is? Big brother, we have just entered Heaven's Road. This thing seems to be very weak. I will try my best to sense it. Okay. In fact, Longao didn't say that even he himself also felt that there was a mysterious power summoning him. He didn't know if it was the same as Xiao He's situation, but it didn't matter. He had to find this mysterious power to summon. Maybe it could help him improve his strength. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. However, Longao did not act too hastily. He knew very well that they had just entered Heaven's Road. It was indeed not suitable for him to look for it now. He had to observe everything first. As for the current task, it was to find a way to find the people from Blackstone City's City Lord's Mansion and Domain Chief's Mansion. He had to kill them all and eliminate all future troubles. Chapter 2945. Ever since he comprehended the Golden Core Realm and had the primordial spirit shackle, Longao had full confidence that he could kill a superior god. Even if he couldn't kill a superior god, he still had Xiao He who could devour a master god. It could be said that lower level of Heaven's Road, unless it was a crisis of Heaven's Road itself. As for the warriors from the 99 Heavens domain, Longao wasn't afraid at all. He would kill whoever came. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Longao wanted to find the warriors from Blackrock City and the Domain Chief's Manor, but he didn't expect them to come first. There were more than 20 people, all of whom were superior gods. They were all superior gods and peak superior gods. The leader was a peak superior god named Scar. Scar was stunned when he saw Longao. Longao? Not only Scar, but the others were also delighted. Of course, they knew what it meant to kill Longao. Not to mention whether they could succeed, just the thought of getting the treasures on Longao made them excited. According to the rumors, Longao had a space artifact in his hands that even a god king couldn't break. In addition to the space artifact, he also had a strange flame. The more they thought about it, the more excited they became. Longao, you can't blame others for barging into hell when there's a path to heaven. More than 20 high gods joining forces to kill a puny god was something which could be accomplished in but a few minutes. After stepping into Heaven's Road, Scar and the others had already felt the suppression of the rules here. No matter who it was, they couldn't enter the space artifact. They were excited to the extreme. How could Longao not know what they were thinking? He smiled and said, "You want my space artifact and strange flame? Ha ha, you're really smart. Since you're so smart, we'll give you a chance. As long as you hand over the space artifact and strange flame, we'll consider leaving your corpse intact. With just you." Before Scar and the others could speak, Longao said again, "If you kneel down and beg for mercy, maybe I'll spare your lives." "Spare our lives? Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Hearing Longao's words, the 20 or so people all laughed out loud. Their laughter was filled with endless ridicule and contempt, as if they had heard the funniest thing in the world. A god actually dared to say that he would spare their lives? However, it must be known that there was not a single mid-level high god amongst the 20 or so of them. All of them were high-level high gods and peak high gods. That was especially so for him, who was half a step away from becoming an over-god. Currently, Scar had already comprehended a portion of the power of space. If he could comprehend 30% of spatial power, he would have truly broken through to beginner-level lord level. Lords were divided into beginner lords, intermediate lords, advanced lords, and pinnacle lords. Primary level lords comprehended 30% of spatial power, mid-level lords comprehended 60% of spatial power, high-level lords comprehended 90% of spatial power, and pinnacle lords comprehended 10% of spatial power. Once one truly grasped the power of space, one would truly become a god king. He had comprehended a fraction of spatial strength and was now a half-step lord. What kind of concept was that? From the 20 or so people's point of view, Longao would not be able to fight against any one of them, let alone if they were to join forces. Longao, I have to admit that you're really arrogant. If it weren't for the pill hall favoring you, do you think you'd be able to live until now? Ignorance killed the cat. Longao really suspected that the 20 or so people in front of him were blinded by the treasures. However, after giving it some thought, he understood. Even those who had seen him fight against Nangong Fengyun and Nangong Chen with their own eyes would not believe that he could fight against lords and god kings. That was the only explanation. It was only because he had the pill hall behind him. Otherwise, he would have been at the mercy of others. Brother Scar, why are you talking so much nonsense with him? After we kill him, we'll bring his corpse back to the Black Rock City and hand it over to the Dominator and the city governor. When the time comes, Longao laughed and said, "Do you believe that even if I don't do anything, all of you will end up in a tragedy? None of you will be able to leave this place alive." Ha! Motherf asterisk cur. You're really shameless. I'm standing here today. I'd like to see if you can kill me without doing anything. The 20 or so people, including Scar, were furious. They had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen someone as arrogant as Lin Fan. "Xiao He, how long will it take?" Xiao He sneered and said in disdain, "Not even half a minute." Insult. It was a blatant insult. Of course, Scar and the others knew what Longao and the spiritual beasts were talking about. He said that he would not even need half a minute to kill 20 or so of them. No one would believe that, let alone them. Me. Xiao He was furious and roared angrily, "Today, I'll show you my swallowing heaven divine power." Ha 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 ha. Xiao He's body left Longao's body and rushed towards the 20 or so people. Under the shocked eyes of the crowd, Xiao He's body grew bigger and bigger. In just a few seconds it had become a huge monster. It was very terrifying. Kill him. Scar did not know what was wrong with him. He was actually afraid. He must be overthinking. A spiritual beast that was only a superior god, even if it had some ability, could not be a match for them. It was just that Longao was too confident. Could it be that Longao really thought that this spiritual beast could kill 20 or so of them? It was complete nonsense. If he believed it, he would be a fool. Dao Ba and the others did not sit still and wait for death. Everyone already understood that the reason why Longao was so arrogant was completely because of the Colossus in front of them. Otherwise, Longao alone would not dare to be so arrogant. If they killed this spiritual beast, then Longao would be meat on the chopping board, ready to be slaughtered. The 20 or so people began to attack Xiao He wildly. However, Xiao He ignored them completely. Although it was only a superior god, its defense could not even break through a lord's, let alone the 20 or so people before it. It could choose to ignore them directly. I'll show you my swallowing heaven divine power. Ha 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 ha. Xiao Hei suddenly opened its mouth and began to devour the 20 or so people before it. The swallowing heaven divine power could even devour a mid-level lord, let alone these 20 or so people before it. It was a piece of cake. Run, motherf asterisk cur. Ah, I beg you, don't devour me. I can choose to submit. I'm willing to be a dog. I'm willing to be a dog too. Chapter 2946. Become a dog? Blackie swallowed one of them and turned to look at Longao. He laughed and said, Big brother, they're willing to be dogs. Don't you think so? Blackie's meaning was very clear. Humiliation. It was a great humiliation. As superior gods, especially Scar, who was a half-step lord, they were usually high and mighty. How many people would have thought that these people, who were usually high and mighty, would say something like this at a time like this? Pride and life could not be compared at all. Ha ha, become a dog? Sorry, I don't need dogs like you. Blackie, don't waste time. Devour. Okay. Blackie did not dare to be unreasonable. He opened his mouth and activated his devouring divine power, beginning to devour by force. One had to admit that Blackie's devouring divine power was indeed incredible. No matter what kind of martial artist it devoured, there would be no aftereffect. In just a few minutes, the 20 or so superior gods were all devoured, leaving only Scarface. Looking at the empty space in front of him, not even a single person was left. Scar was scared out of his wit. It was his first time seeing such an incredible spiritual beast. He forcefully swallowed his saliva. My lord, I was blind just now. Please spare my life. At this moment, Scar could no longer care about anything else. Even if the other party was an ordinary person, he would have to beg for mercy at this time, let alone a superior god. The reason Blackie did not devour Scar was Longao's idea. Are you from Blackrock City's city governor's mansion or the domain chief's mansion? Now that things had come to this, Scar did not dare to continue being arrogant. He said carefully, I'm from the city governor's mansion, but I have nothing to do with it. From now on, I'm just Sir's dog. City governor's mansion? How many people have come from Blackrock City this time? About 100 superior gods. They're all here. At this point, Scar did not continue. However, the meaning of his words was very clear. It had to be said that Nangong Fengyun and Nangong Chun had put in a lot of effort to deal with Longao. They had sent out more than 100 superior gods. But you have to know, the 100-odd people that Blackrock City had sent this time were all powerful high god. For example, Scar was a half-step lord. Nangong Chun felt that a powerful team like this would definitely be able to kill Longao without a hitch. But what was the result? It was just a single exchange. Out of the hundreds of people in Blackrock City, they had already lost more than 20 people. What kind of concept was this? If Nangong Chun and Nangong Feng knew about this, they would be heartbroken. Among all of you, who is the strongest? Boss Chun has comprehended 20% of the power of space. He's only a sliver away from officially becoming a lord. Daoba had comprehended 1 portion of space, while Boss Chun had comprehended 2 portions of space. Although it was only 1 portion more, Longao was very clear about how big the difference was. He sneered in his heart. Since Blackrock City was so willing, then don't blame him for being impolite. Before entering the Heavenly Road, Longao had already decided that he had to kill everyone in Blackrock City. This was also the real reason why Longao didn't kill Scar. You have a way to contact them? Yes. Longao didn't ask how he could contact them. He smiled and said, Now, I'll have to trouble you to summon everyone in Blackrock City. Also, spread the word that I have a strange flame, a spatial artifact, and many heaven-defying treasures. This. Scar was completely dumbfounded. He didn't think that Lin Fan would ask him to do this. Without knowing what Lin Fan meant, Scar didn't dare to act rashly. He knew very well that if news of this spread, Lin Fan would definitely die. How could Longao not know what Scar was thinking? He said coldly, "Do what I say. Don't ask about anything else. Otherwise, you should be able to imagine the consequences." After confirming that Lin Fan wasn't joking, Scar was about to get up and contact them. However, at this moment, Longao suddenly made a move and placed several restrictions on Scar's body. Scar didn't need to ask to know what Lin Fan had done to him. He was furious. If it weren't for his fear of Lin Fan's spiritual beast, he would have attacked long ago. How could he have endured until now? After Scar left, Longao immediately began to set up the formation. No matter who came, they could easily destroy a level 4 formation. Originally, Lin Fan wanted to use Xiao Hei's Devouring the Heavens divine ability. However, if Xiao Hei continued to devour like this, no one could guarantee that Xiao Hei would be fine. Lin Fan didn't dare to take the risk. He could only let Xiao Hei listen first. "Big brother, no matter who it is, as long as it's not a high-level lord, I can still devour them. Why do you have to go through so much trouble to set up a level 4 formation?" Xiao Hei was very curious. He didn't know what Lin Fan was trying to do. "Xiao Hei, I know that your Devouring the Heavens divine ability is extremely powerful. However, I can't be sure that you won't suffer a backlash from devouring so many warriors. It's better to be safe than sorry. What if something happens to you?" Longao did not continue speaking. However, the meaning behind his words was very clear. Xiao Hei seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he swallowed his words. His eyes were filled with gratitude and gratitude. Initially, Scar wanted to seize the opportunity to leave. However, he had not expected Longao to place a restriction on him. If he tried to leave by force, he would probably die a horrible death. Left with no other choice, he could only follow Longao's instructions and send a message as soon as possible. He also began to summon his companions. In less than 3 days, Boss Shen rushed over with more than 80 people. Apart from training, their most important goal in entering the Heavenly Road this time was to kill Longao. Upon hearing Scar's summons, Boss Shen had already gathered everyone together and was making their way over. Among the 80 or so high gods, there were dozens of half-step lords. As for Boss Shen, he had even comprehended two-dimensional space. His ability was the best among everyone below the level of lords. If they still couldn't kill Longao, then the heavens would not let Longao go. "Scar, where are your men?" Scar looked helpless as he said, "Longao is a level 3 formation master. The formation he set up killed my subordinate. Left with no other choice, I could only summon Boss Shen to deal with Longao personally. Otherwise," Boss Shen waved his hand and snorted heavily. Without waiting for Scar to continue, he continued, "You lost more than 20 high gods for a mere middle-level god. I'd like to see how you're going to explain this to the governor and the territorial governor when we leave the Heavenly Road." Chapter 2947. Damn it. Scar cursed in his heart. He didn't even know what was going on with his life. How was he going to explain to Blackrock City? Scar looked fearful and said helplessly, "I'm sorry for my incompetence. Please help me, Boss Shen." That was what he wanted. Boss Shen laughed and said, "Very well. As long as you follow me from now on, I promise you'll be fine." "Thank you, Boss Shen. Do you know where Longao is?" "Yes, Boss Shen. Follow me." From the beginning to the end, Boss Shen never thought that Scar would betray him. Betraying him was equivalent to betraying the Blackrock City Governor's mansion and the Domain Chief's mansion. Even a Divine King expert wouldn't dare to do that, let alone Scar. Not only Boss Shen and the others, but Scar had spread rumors that Longao not only had a space artifact and a strange flame, but also had various treasures. Many people were heading towards Longao's location. There were at least hundreds of superior gods. What did that mean? Hundreds of high gods, no matter who they were, would be able to easily deal with them. Level 4 Array Formation. Longao had set up a total of 9 Level 4 array formations. The 9 Level 4 formations were linked. As long as one formation was activated, all 9 formations would be activated. Longao had set up 9 formations. Unless one could break all 9 formations at the same time, it would be useless to break any one of them. 9 Serial Killing Formation. Boss Shen, we're here. Scar didn't need to say anything. Boss Shen had already seen the figure standing in the distance. It was none other than the person that Blackrock City wanted to kill, Longao. He sped up and arrived in the blink of an eye. Longao, I have to admit that you're really arrogant. You didn't run away when you met us. Boss Shen wasn't the only one. The 80 superior gods of Blackrock City were all curious. They didn't know why Longao was so arrogant and dared to stay here. Scar, you've completed your task. Why don't you get your ass over here? Dogs should be obedient. Dogs should be obedient. Hearing Longao's words, Scar's face instantly turned gloomy, but he didn't dare to say anything. Scar was completely dumbfounded. He had thought that when the two sides fought, no matter who won, or at best, both sides would suffer heavy losses, he would be able to reap the benefits. But now? Longao didn't give him any chance at all. How could he not be angry? Boss Shen and the others all looked at Scar. Their intentions were clear. How should he choose? On one side was Longao, and on the other was Boss Shen. Even though Scar had seen the power of Longao's spirit beasts with his own eyes, he wasn't sure who would win if they started fighting. Boss Shen knew very well that if he made the wrong choice, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. What to do? It was a difficult choice. The more Dao Ba acted like this, the more curious Boss Shen became. Did Dao Ba really betray him and Blackrock City? If that was the case, Scar, do you have any? Of course, Scar knew what Boss Shen meant. He had to make a choice as soon as possible. Otherwise, he might end up dying a horrible death if he failed to please both sides. He gritted his teeth. Boss Shen, I'm Boss Long's dog now. Ha 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 ha. Longao guffawed. He did not say anything at all. However, this was more humiliating than anything else. A mighty half-step Lord-level martial artist had actually admitted to being Longao's lackey in front of everyone. Scar, do you know what the consequences of what you're doing now will be? Boss Shen's expression was equally terrible. He had never thought that Scar would betray him, the city governor's residence, and the territorial master's residence. Could Scar and Longao have done this on purpose? If that was the case, why would they do this? Could it be that they were just trying to trick him and the others into coming here? Not only was he a half-step lord who had comprehended two-dimensional space, but there were also over 80 high gods behind him. There were even dozens of half-step lords among them. Even if Scar had succeeded in tricking him into coming here, he would not be able to gain anything. He might even lose his life. Now, he had a bad feeling about this. Ha ha ha, I'm Boss Long's man now. What bullsh *T city governor's residence and territorial master's residence have nothing to do with me. Old Dog Shen, do you think you'll be able to leave this place alive? Everyone burst into laughter. Dao Ba, who do you think Longao is? Not to mention Boss Shen, even this meow can easily kill him. That's right. Don't think that you can throw your weight around just because you've sided with this piece of trash. When we kill Longao, we'll tear you to pieces. It would be a lie to say that he was not afraid. Scar had placed all his bets on Longao. If Longao lost, not only would Longao's head be separated from his body, but Scar would also be torn apart. Just as Scar was about to say something, Longao suddenly turned around. His voice drifted over. Scar, although you're my dog now, there seems to be something between you and them that hasn't been resolved. I'll wait for you inside. Come in and look for me when you're done. Boss Long, You can't kick me to the curb after I've outlived my usefulness. Before Knife Scar could finish his words, the people around him had already swarmed over. 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. In just a few minutes, Knife Scar had died tragically under the siege of the crowd. Looking at the corpse on the ground, Boss Shen did not care at all. He believed that the domain chief's mansion would not blame him even if he killed such a traitor. As for Longao, for some reason Boss Shen had a bad feeling about this. Boss Shen, are we not going to do anything? How could Boss Shen not know what the people behind him were thinking? Even though he knew that Longao was doing this on purpose, he had to do something. Otherwise, not only would he not be able to explain himself to the territorial master's residence when he returned to Blackrock City, many people might be dissatisfied with him now. Even though he knew that there was danger ahead, he had to go ahead and kill Longao. You must be Boss Shen. Since you're here, why don't you come in? Are you afraid of my formation? Everyone knew that Longao was a level 3 formation master. He had even killed a level 3 formation master earlier. If he were a level 4 formation master, they would have turned around and left. They definitely would not have dared to step into the formation because a level 4 formation was enough to kill them. However, it was only a level 3 formation. There were more than 80 superior gods and dozens of half-step lords. It was impossible for a half-step lord like Boss Shen, who had comprehended 2-dimensional space, to trap them. Longao was being too arrogant. Someone could not take it anymore. He immediately stepped forward and cursed before attacking Longao directly. Chapter 2948. Looking at the people behind him, more and more of them were charging toward Longao in a frenzy. Boss Shen already knew that he had to do something, whether he was willing or not. Longao was only a level 3 formation master. There was no way he could trap them. If he did not even dare to do something like this, he would despise himself, let alone the others. More than 80 higher gods entered the formation in a frenzy. To everyone, Longao was still a level 3 formation master. After thinking about it, they understood. Whether it was an elixir rune master or a formation master, the difficulty of breaking through to the next level far surpassed that of breaking through to the next level as a martial artist. How long had it been since Longao's battle in Blackrock City? Back then, Longao had only been a level 3 formation master. How could he have advanced to a level 4 formation master in such a short time? The 9 Suns Chain Killer Formation. As soon as they entered the formation, they sensed a murderous aura. The air currents around them were like sharp swords. No, this isn't a level 3 formation. It's a level 4 formation. Upon hearing that, everyone's expressions changed abruptly. Including Boss Shen, of course, they knew what a level 4 formation meant. The difference between a level 3 formation and a level 4 formation was too great. A level 3 formation might not be able to kill them, but a level 4 formation definitely had the ability to do so. Everyone's expressions were extremely ugly. At this moment, everyone finally knew why Longao was so fearless. It turned out that he had something to rely on. Otherwise, he would not have dared to be so arrogant. Boss Shen, I wonder how powerful my 9 Suns Chain Killer Formation is? The attacks around them had all disappeared. Everyone heaved a long sigh of relief. Even a half-step lord would not be able to withstand such a terrifying attack, let alone others. Longao, what do you want? Boss Shen suppressed the murderous intent within him. Otherwise, if he really had no other choice, he would have killed Lin Huang long ago. Ha ha ha, Boss Shen, are you out of your mind? If I'm not mistaken, the most important reason you entered Heavenly Road this time is to kill me. Why are you asking me that now? What do you want? The people behind Boss Shen were extremely furious. They were higher gods, and Lin Huang was only a mere middle-level god. If not for the fact that he had a level 4 formation, he would not have dared to do so. A fallen tiger would be bullied by dogs. Actually, in everyone's hearts, they still did not place this array formation in their eyes. Although a formation master of the 4th rank was formidable, Longao was only a god. If Longao was a high god, then it would be a different story altogether. How could Longao not know what everyone was thinking in their hearts? He sneered. Since the other party wanted to court death, how could he not fulfill his wish? He turned around and disappeared. Just as Longao's figure disappeared, the 9 Suns chain-killing array was activated once again. The surrounding air currents once again condensed into sharp swords, and the countless sharp swords in the surroundings began attacking in a frenzy. Wave after wave, there was no gap at all. Crack, 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 miserable shrieks rang out one after another as more than 80 high gods fell one after another. If this situation continued, it would take no more than 10 minutes for the remaining high gods to be killed. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Boss Shen was completely shocked. He never thought that the other party was not only a level 4 array master, but also that the level 4 array he set up was so heaven-defying. Longao, if there is anything we can discuss it, we can. Before Boss Shen could finish speaking, Longao's voice was heard. It's too late now. I don't need dogs like you by my side. Ha! Longao was very confident in the 9 Suns chain-killing array that he had set up. Forget about ordinary half-step lords, even a true lord who had comprehended 1/3 of space could be killed by it. Tens of minutes later, Longao stretched his back vigorously. He had successfully killed all the high gods in the city governor's residence and the territorial master's residence. This could be considered as solving a problem for good. If he counted carefully, he had killed a total of more than 100 high gods this time. Even for Blackrock City, this was an existence that could not be lost. He had just finished off Boss Shen and the others. Longao could clearly sense that the sound of footsteps came from all around again. In a short while, many superior gods, including mid-level gods, appeared one after another. There was no need to guess at all. He already knew what was going on. That's Longao. Kill him quickly. He has a spatial divine weapon on him, as well as exotic flames and other treasures. Everyone was envious. Whether it was a spatial divine weapon, exotic flames, or other treasures, the temptation was irresistible. Longao appeared to be in fear and trepidation. He immediately turned around and dashed away, deliberately slowing down. From beginning to end, nobody paid any attention to Longao at all. Several hundred people chased after Longao. The 9 Suns chain-killing array could not be seen from the outside at all unless one was an array master. However, none of the several hundred people was an array master. All of them chased after Lin Huang in a frenzy. Tens of minutes later, the several hundred people had all entered the array. The outcome was predictable. The more people that came, the better. Longao did not show any mercy at all. The previous 80 high gods and now the several hundred warriors were all devoured. He immediately began to cultivate. This time, Longao devoured the power of so many warriors. He wanted to use this power to break through his current realm. Ever since he stepped into the chaotic realm, Longao already knew that if one did not have strength, it would be difficult to move around in the chaotic realm. If it was not for the Pill Hall protecting him, he might not be able to deal with the City Lord Mansion and Domain Lord Mansion of the Blackrock City. Even if the Pill Hall protected him, it was not a long-term solution. Moreover, no one knew when their family members would be transported to the chaotic realm. The Pill Hall was willing to fall out with the Blackrock City for him. Would they do the same for others? Longao did not dare to take the risk. He could not take the risk because he could not afford to lose. Therefore, he had to increase his strength as soon as possible, even if he had to devour the power of other warriors forcefully. His cultivation had already broken through to the peak of the middle god realm. He only needed one more step to become a high god. For other warriors, it was very difficult to break through from the middle god realm to the high god realm. There were countless warriors who could not break through in their lifetime. The biggest reason was that they could not use the golden core in their body to form the so-called golden core realm. However, Longao's situation was completely different. He had not broken through to the high god realm. When he was only a middle god, he had already comprehended the golden core realm. Therefore, with such a huge power as the foundation, if he still could not break through to the high god realm, he could just kill himself. Longao was very confident that he could successfully break through to the high god realm. He immediately sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate quietly. Chapter 2949. Success came naturally. Longao had already comprehended the Jindan domain, so after devouring the energy of so many warriors, in just a few short hours, he had smoothly broken through from the peak of the demigod stage to the beginner stage of the high god stage. Continuous breakthroughs. Beginner stage of the high god stage. Mid-stage of the high god stage. Only when he reached the high stage of the high god stage did he stop. Then, he stood up and stretched his body. His face was filled with joy, because Longao knew very well what breaking through to the high stage of the high god stage meant. If he could continue to devour, then breaking through to the peak of the high god stage wouldn't be too difficult. But breaking through to the sovereign stage wasn't so easy. Big brother, you've devoured so many warriors' energy to break through. Will you suffer a backlash? Little Black was very worried. How could Longao not know what Little Black was thinking? There shouldn't be any problems. Right, Little Black, we've already resolved the problem of Blackrock City. Apart from constantly increasing our strength, we also need to find the power that summoned us. Alright. Little Black was already impatient. He could clearly sense that the mysterious voice that summoned him would definitely be of great help to him. The lower levels of the heavenly road were incomparably boundless. Even Longao and Little Black's primordial souls couldn't cover a very large area. They could only wander around like headless flies, going wherever they went. Big brother, later on, if we find the mysterious voice that summoned us, can we go to the upper levels of the heavenly road to take a look? You want to go? The heavenly road was divided into 2 levels. Only sovereigns could enter the upper levels. Both Little Black and Longao were high gods. They hadn't truly broken through to the sovereign stage. Thus, under normal circumstances, the 2 of them weren't qualified to enter the upper levels of the heavenly road. Right. I want to go to the upper levels of the heavenly road. Longao was very curious. He didn't know what Little Black meant. Big brother, I don't know why, but I keep having the feeling that not only the lower levels of the heavenly road, but even the upper levels of the heavenly road have the power that I need. So that's how it is. Little Black, I trust you know that the upper levels of the heavenly road have power restrictions. You and I are both high gods. It seems that we can't enter the upper levels of the heavenly road. Little Black laughed helplessly. Big brother, when the time comes, let's try. As for whether or not we can enter, it's up to our luck. All right. Longao did not have the slightest objection. In any case, it did not take much effort. If he and Xiao He were lucky, they would be able to smoothly step into the upper levels of Heaven's Road. Be careful. The 2 of them walked for several hours. A gray space appeared in front of him. At a glance, he couldn't see anything at all. Blackie, did the mysterious power that summoned you come from here? Indeed. Longao was overjoyed, but the mysterious power that summoned him was not here. His expression was grave. For some reason, Longao felt that there was an unknown danger in the gray space in front of him. Despite knowing that there are tigers on the mountain, one still goes up the mountain. Longao was very clear in his heart that the mysterious power that could summon Blackie was definitely not ordinary. Otherwise, Blackie would not have been summoned by this mysterious power as soon as he stepped into the heavenly road. Just think about it and you know what that means. He could not let Xiao He lose this opportunity. Blackie, let's go. Big brother, you don't have to go in with me. I can sense that the space in front of me is not dangerous to me, but to others. Blackie did not continue speaking, but the meaning in his words was very clear. Longao seemed to want to say something, but before he could, Blackie continued, Big brother, you don't have to worry about me. As long as we're in Heaven's Road, we can contact each other. I'll go in and see what this mysterious power is. I'll look for you later. If it was dangerous, Longao would definitely not retreat in the slightest. But now, the situation was somewhat different. Longao nodded and said, Blackie, if you encounter something that you can't solve, immediately summon me. Understood. It's not like you haven't seen my speed. Moreover, in the lower levels of Heaven's Road, I'm afraid that no one is a match for my devouring heaven divine power. Big brother, you don't have to worry. Okay. Just as he finished speaking, Blackie's body disappeared with a whoosh. In the blink of an eye, he had entered the gray space in front of him. He let out a deep sigh. Longao was still very confident in Little Black. What Little Black said just now was right. With his speed and devouring heaven divine ability, unless he encountered a great danger, Little Black should be fine. Blackie had already found the mysterious power that summoned him. He had to find it as soon as possible. Once he was done with this, he would head to the entrance and see if he could go to the upper levels of Heaven's Road. The Heaven's Road was divided into 2 levels. According to Sister Han and Dongfang, there were entrances between the lower levels and the upper levels of Heaven's Road. However, regardless of whether it was the cultivators on the lower levels or the overgods on the upper levels, they were unable to enter the other levels. After leaving, Longao did not immediately search for the mysterious power. Instead, he stood where he was and quietly released his soul. He wanted to see where the mysterious power that summoned him came from. It's too weak. It's really impossible to find such a weak mysterious power. Longao sighed helplessly. Ever since he stepped onto Heaven's Road, whether it was at the beginning or now, the mysterious power that summoned him seemed to be very weak. He was unable to lock onto its exact location with just the summoning. He could not go on like this. After all, he could not stay in Heaven's Road forever. Cousin, what is this person doing? Not far away, 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman, walked over. Looking at the figure of the young man who was standing there quietly, the 3 of them were very curious. The moment the 3 of them appeared, Longao had already sensed their aura. He opened his eyes, but the 3 of them had already arrived in the blink of an eye. Who are you? Which heaven region are you from? They looked down on him. Longao frowned slightly. He snorted coldly and chose to ignore them. He turned around and quickly left. Seeing this, the 3 of them became furious. Lu Bo almost could not hold back. He said furiously, Who do you think you are? How dare you not answer my question and offend my Lu family? Before he could finish speaking, Longao suddenly stopped. He turned around and coldly stared at the 3 of them. He said, And who are you? Do I know you? What shitty Lu family? Don't try to act cool in front of me. They were completely enraged. As members of the Lu family, the 3 of them had never encountered something like this. They were usually high and mighty, so when had anyone ever dared to talk back to them? Chapter 2950. The other party was just a high-level god, while the 3 of them were peak-level gods. The 3 of them couldn't figure out where the other party got his courage from. Lu Rulan stopped the 2 cousins and said with a smile, I am Lu Rulan. These 2 are my cousins Lu Bo and Lu Chong. We are from the Lu family of the Thunder Heavenly Region. Heavenly Region? So the 3 of them were from the Heavenly Region. Longao was a little surprised. The Chaos Realm was divided into 99 heavenly regions. The lower 33 heavenly regions couldn't be compared to the upper 33 heavenly regions. The three of them were peak-level gods. If they met other people, they wouldn't even dare to offend them. What does it have to do with me where you are from? The more Longao acted like this, the less confident the three of them were. They had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen such arrogant people. Under normal circumstances, if the three of them reported their heavenly region and family, everyone would give them some face. But now, the other party didn't even care about the three of them. What was going on? Was the heavenly region no longer useful? Was the Lu family no longer a threat? Brother, my cousin's tone was a little bad. Please don't take offense. May I know how to address you? One wouldn't hit a smiling person. Longao really didn't like people like this. Relying on their backing, they acted high and mighty wherever they went. Others might be afraid, but he wasn't. After killing hundreds of high-level gods, if the other party was looking for trouble, he didn't mind killing the three of them. Longao, from the Black Stone Heavenly Region, F***ck Lu Bo and Lu Chong cursed in their hearts. They thought the other party was something great, but it turned out that he was just a warrior from the lower heaven region. Warriors from the upper heaven region always looked down on warriors from the lower heaven region. Thinking of this, Lu Chong snorted and said mockingly, I thought you had something to rely on. So you are from the lower heaven region. Longao, your Black Stone Heavenly Region Lord is trash in our Lu family. The Black Stone Heavenly Region Lord was nothing in the Lu family. After all, the Lu family was able to stand in the Thunder Heavenly Region for countless years. Other than their own strength, they also had several god emperors. Nangong Fengyun? Ha ha, that's right. The two of them thought that Yi Chen was scared. After all, even the leader of the Black Stone Heavenly Region didn't dare to act recklessly in front of the Lu clan, not to mention a weak cultivator from the Black Stone Heavenly Region. It was complete nonsense. Lu Rulan's expression was very ugly. Her two cousins were always like this. If this continued, they would suffer losses sooner or later. Before Lu Rulan could speak, Longao had already snorted coldly. Who does Nangong Fengyun think he is? Huh. Hearing the other party's words, not to mention the two of them, even Lu Rulan was a little shocked. She never thought that this person would actually dare to insult her domain master. You could say that. The domain master was the ruler of a heaven domain. Although he was not the most powerful existence, his status was still there. Could it be that he was not from the Black Stone Heavenly Region? You'd better scram, or else. What else do you want? What can you do? Lu Chong and Lu Bo didn't care about the other party at all. He was just a superior god from a lower heaven domain. Moreover, there were three of them. Any one of them could easily deal with him. If it weren't for their cousin, they would have already attacked. They wouldn't have waited until now. Suppressing the anger in their hearts, Lu Chong and Lu Bo were communicating with their spiritual awareness. This time, the Lu clan had already told them that no matter what happened, they had to listen to their cousin. Originally, there were dozens of people from the Lu clan who entered this time. Some of them didn't contact each other, some died. Anyway, only the three of them were left. Brother Long, my two cousins didn't mean that. Before Lu Rulan could finish, the two beside her had already stepped out. The two of them had already discussed. Even if they would lose face, they would work together to kill the other party quickly. Whoever dared to offend the Lu clan, dared to offend the two of them. Even if the other party died 10,000 times, it wouldn't be too much. Longao's face instantly turned gloomy. He didn't want to attack at first. After all, Lu Roi was a nice person. However, the two beside her were extremely annoying. If they didn't offend him, he wouldn't offend them. Longao didn't want to cause trouble, but he wasn't afraid of it either. Both of them were pinnacle superior gods. They didn't care about a superior god at all. Lu Roi was anxious, but it was too late. Brother Long, please have mercy. Hearing their cousin's words, both Lu Bo and Lu Chong were completely enraged. They were both pinnacle superior gods, but their cousin thought that they couldn't defeat the other party even if they worked together. It was a humiliation, a great humiliation. He couldn't be bothered to attack. Now that he had successfully broken through to a superior god, fighting a pinnacle superior god would be a piece of cake. In order to end the battle quickly, Longao directly used the confinement of the primordial spirit. The two of them, who were full of confidence, suddenly turned pale. They were shocked to find that their primordial spirits were forcibly confined. What was going on? At this moment, the two of them finally knew why the other party was so arrogant and didn't care about them at all. It turned out that the other party's strength was far above theirs. Just the confinement of the primordial spirit could easily destroy them. Lu Ruoyan also realized that something was wrong. She anxiously said, "Brother Long, please have mercy." In this trip to Heaven's Road, the family had already suffered great losses. The remaining two cousins couldn't attack no matter what. Longao did not intend to kill the two of them in the first place. Lu Ruoyan was a good person. Even a big dog had to look at its owner. He just wanted to teach the two of them a lesson. With a cold snort, the two of them retreated even faster. Their bodies flew out and smashed into the ground, creating two deep pits. They climbed up from the ground with difficulty. Their faces were filled with fear. They were both pinnacle superior gods, but they couldn't even withstand a single attack from the other party. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Lu Ruoyan wasn't surprised. The other party dared to be so arrogant and didn't even care about the domain lord of the Blackstone Heavenly Region. Obviously, he had a grudge against the Blackstone City. If such a person didn't have some skills, he would have run away when he saw the three of them. Only this person didn't run away. He didn't even care about the three of them. What was going on? His two cousins were too reckless. People like them could only be befriended, but they could not be dealt with by force. Just thinking about it made him scared. If the other party really wanted to kill the two of them, even he would not be able to do anything. Thank you for showing mercy, Brother Long. Chapter 29:51. Take care of your dogs. Otherwise, they won't be so lucky next time. Turning around, he disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Lu Ruoyan sighed deeply. As for Lu Chong and Lu Bo, both of their faces were grim. They did not feel the slightest bit of gratitude for letting them off. Instead, they were filled with killing intent. Wait till you head over to the Thunder Heavenly Region. I'll let you know the strength of the Lu family. I must kill them. Longao was extremely frustrated in his heart. To think that he would be bitten by two dogs out of nowhere. What dogs? T Thunder Heavenly Region Lu family. Be it the lower or upper heavenly region, they had nothing to do with him at all. Longao did not choose to give up. After all, the mysterious power that was summoning him was still so weak. Given the current situation, he would definitely not be able to lock onto the exact location of the mysterious power. This was not the way to go on. What should he do? Right at this moment, Longao's face changed. In his shock, he did not dare to be careless as he bolted towards the southeast direction. His speed was at an extreme. Lad, stop. If you stop again, I'll kill you without mercy. Scram. Kill. Longao's speed was extremely fast. He chose to ignore everyone he met along the way. Be it low-level upper gods, middle-level upper gods, or even high-level upper gods, as long as they dared to stand in his way, he would kill them without mercy. Boom, 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 boom. A single punch killed a upper god, pinnacle-level upper god. Everyone who caught sight of this was shocked. They had seen strong people before, but this was the first time they had seen someone this strong. He had arrived. Looking at the gigantic valley before him, Longao could clearly sense that the mysterious power that was summoning him was within the valley. At this moment, the valley was filled with people. Looking over, there were tens of thousands of them. Seemed like he was not the only one. Many people thought that there was a treasure within the valley. Cough, cough. After our discussion with a family from the upper heavenly region, we realized that if we want to enter the valley, we have to attack the formation on all 9 stone platforms at the same time. That's the only way to enter the valley. As a grade 4 formation master, Longao naturally knew that there was a formation outside the valley. There were no ranks of arrays. There were a total of 9 stone platforms, and there was an array on each of them. Attacking a stone platform's array formation alone was completely useless. This was the only way. That was to attack all 9 stone platforms simultaneously. Furthermore, it would require a high god to attack. If that was the case, there would be no suspense at all. Everyone, calm down. Calm down. When they heard that they had to attack all 9 stone platforms at the same time to enter the valley, everyone began to chatter. We've tested it just now. Each stone platform can only hold up to 4 people at most. 4 by 9, 36 people. 36? Tens of thousands of people, but only 36 people entered the valley? What kind of concept was that? Such a ratio could only mean one thing. If they wanted to attack the array formation on the stone platform and enter the valley, they would have to kill their way out. No matter who it was, they all wanted to enter the valley. There were only 36 people who could enter the valley. Thinking of this, everyone's eyes turned red as they stared at the 9 stone platforms. Kill. Waves of murderous intent soared into the sky. Instantly, everyone charged toward the 9 stone platforms. However, in a situation like this, it was not a matter of speed that could guarantee that one could reach the stone platforms. Strength. If one wanted to enter the valley, one had to rely on strength. Without strength, one could forget about it. Longao did not move because it would be nonsense to go there now. No matter what, even if he had to go on a killing spree, he had to occupy a stone platform. Lu Rulan and the other 2 arrived at the same time. However, only the 3 of them were left from the Lu family. Perhaps there were others, but they were definitely not here. After all, the lower level of Heavenly Road was boundless. The 3 of them saw Longao at the same time. Murderous intent radiated from their eyes. However, due to his terrifying strength, they did not dare attack recklessly. Cousin, let's fight for a stone platform too. When we enter the valley, we might be able to obtain an opportunity. However, Lu Rulan shook her head and said, My 2 cousins, I'm sure you've seen the situation clearly. Ordinary peak high gods can't occupy stone platforms at all, unless they're half-step lords. Among the tens of thousands of people, there were a total of 3 half-step lords who had comprehended 2-dimensional space. Without a doubt, the 3 of them would occupy 3 stone platforms. The remaining 6 stone platforms would be occupied by the half-step lords who had comprehended 2-dimensional space. The gap between peak high gods and half-step lords was extremely huge. It was like an insurmountable gap. Unless it was someone like Longao, ordinary martial artists would not be able to kill a half-step lord at all. As expected, the 3 half-step lords who had comprehended 2-dimensional space each occupied a stone platform and invited the 3 of them. The others did not dare to fight for a stone platform at all. What a joke! Even if they wanted to enter the valley, they had to be alive to do so. The remaining 6 stone platforms began the most brutal fight. Within a short few dozen minutes, the number of casualties had already reached 1/10. What did that mean? Just as Lu Rulan had predicted, the final 6 stone platforms were firmly occupied by the 6 lords. All 9 stone platforms had fallen into the hands of the half-step lords. Several half-step lords had even died in the fight this time. One could imagine how brutal the fight was. Seeing that there was no hope of fighting for a stone platform, many people began to retreat slowly. After all, the valley was not the only valley on Heavenly Path. There were opportunities in other places as well. There was no need to stay in one place and refuse to give up. In a short while, almost everyone had left. There were less than a few hundred people left. Lu Rulan and the other two did not leave. They merely watched the silhouette in the distance quietly. The three of them were very curious. They did not know why Longao had not left. Could it be that he wanted to occupy a stone platform? He's overestimating himself. No matter how powerful his ability is, there's no way he can defeat a half-step lord. Cousin, I can sense an invincible aura from him. He might really challenge a half-step lord and fight for a stone platform. Of course, Lu Chong and Lu Bo did not believe that Longao would really dare to fight, given his ability. Unless he was out of his mind or had a death wish. Since everyone has already occupied a stone platform, why don't we attack the formation in front of us now and enter the valley at the same time? Alright. I'm fine with it. Just as everyone was prepared to attack the formation, Longao suddenly spoke. You guys are fine with it, but I am. At that moment, Longao took a step forward and looked at the people in front of him with a smile. Just because he had not attacked earlier did not mean that he would not attack. Chapter 29:52. He's really going to attack. He really doesn't know his place. Lu Chong and Lu Bo were completely dumbfounded. They had never imagined that Longao would really dare to fight for the stone platforms. Was it possible for a mere high-level higher god to challenge a half-step lord? It was almost impossible. Lu Rulan's eyes, however, revealed a strange look. Haha, do you have a problem? What problem do you have? The 36 people on the stone dais, upon seeing a puny high god, actually dared to stand out and challenge him? They were courting death. However, Longao chose to ignore them. He took another step forward, and a powerful aura surged out. He only needed one of the 9 stone platforms. There was no need for him to cause trouble for 3 half-step lords who had comprehended two-dimensional space. Therefore, he could only choose from the remaining 6 stone platforms. He's choosing. Seeing that their opponent was searching for an answer, the people on the 9 stone platforms were enraged. On one of the stone platforms, "Kid, you're really arrogant." Before this person could finish speaking, Longao interrupted him and said with a smile, "Since you want to stand out, I'll choose you." Before anyone could react, Longao's figure had already moved swiftly. He wanted to end the battle quickly. This time, Longao did not use the Xianyuan sword. Instead, he took out the Chaos Axe. Together with the Chaos 9 axes, he was prepared to finish off his opponents in the shortest time possible. On the stone platforms, 1 half-step lord and 3 peak high-level higher gods. With such an ability, even a half-step lord might not be able to gain an advantage, let alone a high-level higher god. Longao was very fast. He arrived on the stone platforms in an instant. In the blink of an eye, both parties were engaged in a fierce battle. Crack, crack, crack. Before the 3 peak high-level higher gods could react, they were imprisoned by the primordial spirits of Longao's axe shadow. Their expressions changed. Even if they were beaten to death, they would never have imagined that their opponent could imprison their primordial spirit. It was simply unbelievable. Wherever the axe shadow passed, the 3 peak high-level higher gods were killed instantly. What did that mean? It was an instant kill. An high-level higher god had killed 3 peak high-level higher gods in an instant. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Lu Rulan and the other 2 were not surprised at all. After all, Longao had almost killed her 2 cousins in an instant as well. Everyone was stunned. What powerful abilities! The expression of the half-step lords on the stone platform was extremely grim. This was because even he wasn't capable of insta-killing them, let alone insta-killing 3 peak high gods. Sir, everything can be discussed. Right now, I'm the only one on the stone platform. How about you join me? If it had been any other time, this half-step lord would definitely not have chosen to back down. However, the current situation was completely different. If the other party truly possessed powerful abilities and caused trouble for him, he could imagine the consequences. Bear with it for a while and calm the waves. Since the half-step lords had already done so, as long as they were not out of their minds, they would definitely give up. In any case, all they had to do was occupy one of the slots. But in the end, just when everyone thought that Longao would stop, the situation changed. Not only did Longao not stop, but he began to attack the half-step lord in a frenzy. To other peak higher gods, a half-step lord might be an insurmountable existence. However, to Longao it was nothing at all. It was not as if he had never killed a half-step lord before. Longao did not want to cause any trouble for himself. If he and Longao occupied the stone platforms at the same time and were stabbed in the back, he would not even have the chance to cry. "Brat, you've gone too far. If I don't kill you today, I swear I'm not human." He had already put down his pride and invited Lin Huang to enter the valley with him. Never had he thought that not only would Lin Huang ignore him, but he would even try to kill him. This was intolerable. It was not just this lord. Even the others were in disbelief. A mere high-level higher god was so arrogant that he wanted to kill a lord. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. It was rare to see such an exciting battle. Not only that, if the battle did not end, they would not be able to forcefully break the formation and enter the valley. Primordial Spirit Imprisonment. In the past, Longao certainly would not have dared to use primordial spirit imprisonment so casually to imprison a half-step lord's primordial spirit. However, the situation was different now. Now that his cultivation had broken through to high-level higher god, he was fully confident that even if his opponent was a half-step lord, he could imprison his opponent's primordial spirit. As expected, with the help of the Chaos Axe's primordial spirit imprisonment, his power increased by a full 1/3. What did that mean? The half-step lord was equally stunned. He had never imagined that Lin Huang would be able to imprison his primordial spirit. If he had not experienced it himself, he would have found it hard to believe. However, what was done was done. It was too late for regrets. Longao swung the Chaos Axe in his hand viciously. With a loud bang, the half-step lord's body was instantly split into two. Even his primordial spirit did not have time to escape before it was devoured by Longao. Since he had already devoured so many martial artists' powers, he did not suggest continuing to devour them. No matter what, he had to elevate his cultivation level first. Currently, his cultivation level had broken through to high-level higher god. If he wanted to become a half-step lord, the first thing he had to do was break through to peak higher god as soon as possible. He used the heart-burning lotus to turn the corpse on the stone platform into ashes. Exceptional fire? He actually has an exceptional fire? Everyone's expressions changed when they saw an exceptional fire suddenly appear in Lin Huang's hand. They knew very well what an exceptional fire meant. There were a total of 23 types of exceptional fires in the Chaos Realm. No matter which exceptional fire one obtained, one would become an unparalleled powerhouse in the future. Greed filled their eyes. They could not wait to snatch the exceptional fire from Lin Huang. However, Lin Huang's ability was far too powerful. He was able to kill a half-step lord. Unless they were half-step lords who had comprehended 20% of space, no one else dared to snatch the exceptional fire from Lin Huang. They had the intention, but they did not have the gut. As for the 3 half-step lords who had comprehended 20% of space, they had no intention of doing anything at all. Longao looked at the hundreds of people before him coldly. No matter who they were, as long as they dared to snatch the exceptional fire or the position on the stone platform, he would not hesitate to break through immediately. Lu Chong and Lu Bo were completely dumbfounded. Initially, They had thought that Longao would not be able to defeat a half-step lord. They had never imagined that Longao would actually do it. It was unbelievable. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it at all. Chapter 29:53. Longao's strength had completely stunned everyone around him. Although he was only a high-level higher god, his strength was comparable to a half-step lord's, or even stronger. Lu Rulin, are the three of you willing to attack the formation with me and enter the valley? After looking around, Longao eventually locked onto Lu Rulin and the other two. He did not know the others, so Longao was unwilling to take the risk. Looking at the figure on the stone platform, Lu Rulin aside, even the other two were a little dumbfounded. It was as though a pie had fallen from the sky and hit them directly. "We're willing." Suppressing the joy in their hearts, the three of them did not dare to hesitate at all. Immediately, they went up to the stone platform. "Thank you for your help, Brother Long." Longao only nodded his head but did not say anything. Cough, cough, cough. "Your strength is through the heavens. Since that's the case, let's begin." The people on the other 8 stone platforms were filled with lingering fear. If this person had chosen to attack them first, it would be hard to say what would have happened. There was no hesitation at all. On the 9 stone platforms, the 4 of them began attacking the formations before them wildly. Boom, 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 boom. The 36 of them gave it their all. Within a few minutes, the 9 formations were forcefully broken. Then, before the 36 of them could even react, a white light flashed and enveloped all of them. Instantly, they disappeared from where they were. In the next second, the 36 of them had already appeared in the valley. Their surroundings were eerie and filled with danger. "Everyone, the opportunities in the valley are up to your own abilities. Let's go." The 36 of them were either moving alone or in group. Before long, the others had disappeared without a trace, leaving only Longao and the other two. "Brother Long, why don't we move together?" Longao waved his hand. Before Lu Rulin could finish her sentence, Longao had already said, "I like to move alone. Goodbye." If not for the fact that there had to be 4 people, Longao would not have brought the 3 of them in. Looking at the departing figure, Lu Chong scolded viciously, "What the hell? Letting you come with us is his honor. How dare he? Cousin." "Okay, cousin. I won't say any more." After leaving, Longao was pleasantly surprised. Ever since he entered the valley, the mysterious power that was summoning him seemed to be getting stronger and stronger, as if it was right next to his ear. Longao's speed soared to the extreme. 10 minutes later, it was an extremely hidden black hole that was covered by a concealment array. If one wasn't an array master or had good luck, it would be impossible to find the black hole. With Longao's strength as a level 4 array master, he managed to break through the concealment array in just a few minutes. Inside the black hole was a bottomless tunnel. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao's figure instantly entered the black hole tunnel and disappeared in the blink of an eye. The passageway was very long and sloped downwards. It was obvious that it was at the bottom of the valley. About an hour later, Longao finally saw a glimmer of light. He was overjoyed and immediately sped up. In a short while, he had already entered a huge cave. The surroundings were gray. Chaotic energy. Just as he stepped into the cave, Longao clearly sensed that the grayish airflow within the cave was the so-called primal chaos energy. Such dense primal chaos energy was really rarely seen, and he had practically never seen it before. After stepping into the cave, Longao was immediately locked by the surrounding chaotic energy. He couldn't even move an inch. He was shocked. Longao didn't know what was going on. At this moment, all the chaotic energy around the cave rushed into Longao's body. It was madly rushing into his body. In Longao's body, The chaotic palace in his dantian was crazily attacked by the chaotic energy. It was continuous and airtight. What's going on? At this moment, Longao was shocked to find that because of the chaotic energy in the cave, his dantian and the chaotic palace in his body were slowly fusing. That's right, they were fusing. Although he was shocked, Longao couldn't do anything. He couldn't even control his body, let alone stop it. Whether it was good or bad, he didn't know. His instincts told Longao that this might not be a bad thing. There was no need to talk about the strength of the chaotic palace. As the owner of the chaotic palace, he knew how heaven-defying the chaotic palace was. If they could fuse together, it would be beneficial for him. Since he was already here, he might as well take things as they came. Longao just watched quietly and didn't continue to resist. Just like this, all the chaotic energy in the cave continued to rush into Longao's body. It only stopped when his dantian and the chaotic palace were completely fused. Perhaps it was a coincidence, but after the two fused, the chaotic energy in the cave disappeared without a trace. It was all devoured by Longao. He was so excited that he didn't know what to do. Just as he had guessed, after his dantian and the chaotic palace were completely fused, his body was immortal. In other words, as long as the chaotic palace wasn't destroyed, his body would be immortal. Previously, when his lotus primordial spirit condensed into the immortal primordial spirit, it could only ensure that his primordial spirit was immortal. His body couldn't achieve that, so it wasn't truly eternal. But now, the situation was completely different. With the fusion of his dantian and the chaotic palace, his body had also become immortal. Both his primordial spirit and body were immortal. At this moment, Longao was truly eternal. In other words, not to mention ordinary warriors, even peak divine emperors couldn't kill him. At most, they could only be severely injured. How could he not be surprised, excited? Now, Longao finally knew what kind of power was summoning him. It turned out that it was the primal chaos power. It was really arranged by fate. If he hadn't forcefully entered the valley, his dantian and primal chaos palace wouldn't have been able to fuse together. Inside the chaotic palace. In other words, inside the so-called dantian. Now, the chaotic palace and the dantian had fused together. Longao looked at Qin Shuangshuang, who was lying on the ice bed with a surprised expression. With the influx of the chaotic energy, not only had his dantian and the chaotic palace fused together, even Qin Shuangshuang had absorbed part of the chaotic energy. He thought that Qin Shuangshuang would wake up, but he never thought that Qin Shuangshuang would still be the same. At this moment, Longao was shocked to find that Qin Shuangshuang, who was lying on the ice bed, had unknowingly broken through to the overgod realm. What kind of concept was this? Could it be because of the chaotic energy? That was unlikely. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. But Longao was really surprised. Qin Shuangshuang's cultivation had broken through to the overgod realm, which meant that her injuries hadn't worsened. She just hadn't woken up yet. I will definitely wake you up. Chapter 2954. Regarding Qin Shuangshuang, Longao's feelings had always been vague. He didn't know why, but he always had a feeling that Qin Shuangshuang was his wife. Unfortunately, until now, he still didn't know whether he was reincarnated or not. Everything was still a mystery. After devouring the chaotic force, Longao didn't stay any longer. He turned and left the cave. In the valley. Cousin, let's leave quickly. Cousin, let's go together. Let's die together. At this moment, Lu Rulan and the other two were besieged. They were already injured and could be killed at any time. They didn't know if they were lucky or unlucky. As soon as they stepped into the valley, they found their own opportunity. There were several treasures and a level 6 divine beast core. What did a level 6 beast core mean? A level 6 divine beast was equivalent to a divine emperor. It was easy to imagine what a level 6 divine beast core meant. If it was something else, it would be fine. But this beast core couldn't be handed over. I'll give you one more chance. Otherwise, we'll kill you. The 20 people had been holding back and didn't immediately kill them. They just wanted to get the beast core and divine weapon. They didn't want to kill the 3 unless they had no other choice. The 3 were from the Lu family of the Thunder Heavenly Domain. The Lu family was powerful. There was no wall that didn't have a crack. If they were unlucky and the news spread, they would be in big trouble. The 3 didn't care at all. They still insisted. They wouldn't hand over the divine weapon and beast core even if they died. Since that's the case, don't blame us for being impolite. Things had already come to this and the 3 still refused to hand over the things. There was no other way except to kill them. Let's go. Want to go? Everyone wanted to laugh. Things had already come to this and the 3 still refused to let go. What was the use of these treasures and beast cores if they lost their lives? No. Seeing their cousin killed, the 2 of them went completely mad. Just as the 2 of them were about to hand over the beast core and the god artifact, a figure appeared in front of them. There was a loud bang. The 20 people were beaten back. Longao was already standing in front of Lu Rulan. He asked, "Are you okay?" He had nearly been killed. Even now, fear still lingered in his heart. "Thank you for this. But you have to leave quickly. Take this beast core and leave." Lu Rulan handed over the grade 6 beast pill in her hands without hesitation. She knew very well that even Longao wouldn't be able to resist the combined forces of over 20 martialists. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be greedy upon seeing a level 6 beast pill. Not to mention giving it away for free, they would not hesitate to snatch it. Except for Longao. Waving his hand, Longao smiled and said, "I didn't save you for the beast core." Longao took action because he felt that Lu Rulan was a good person. If it were someone else, such as Lu Bo or Lu Chong, he would definitely not take action. Longao naturally knew about the beast core in Lu Rulan's hands. A level 6 beast pill was equivalent to a level 6 divine beast pill of a level 6 divine beast. Such a heaven-defying beast pill would definitely be snatched by countless people if it was put outside. "Your Excellency, there's no need for you to get involved in this flood. If you want this beast core, we can split it equally. How about it? Scram." The word scram not only stunned the 20-odd martial artists in front of him, but even Lu Rulan and the other 2 were dumbfounded. They had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen such an arrogant person. Faced with so many peak higher gods, 3 half-step lords who had comprehended 2-dimensional space, and several half-step lords who had comprehended 1-dimensional space, he actually dared to tell them to scram. He had a death wish. Everyone was instantly enraged. "You're really arrogant. Today, I'll show you what right you have to be so arrogant." Even if Lin Huang could kill half-step lords, there were 3 half-step lords who had comprehended 2-dimensional space here, as well as 20-odd peak higher gods. How could Lin Huang fight them? Without waiting for this peak superior deity to finish speaking, Longao's figure instantly disappeared. "Hold on. How arrogant!" Crack. Longao directly cut this person in half at the waist. By the time everyone reacted, this person had already died. Even his primordial spirit had been devoured by Longao. From the beginning to the end, forget the ordinary peak higher gods, even the half-step lords who had comprehended 2-dimensional space had not been able to clearly see how exactly Longao had done it. Lin Huang's powerful ability completely shocked everyone, including Lu Rulan and the other 2. Scram. "Your Excellency, you're very powerful. However, I believe you know better than any of us what a grade 6 beast core means. You can't swallow this beast core by yourself. Why don't we split it equally?" After witnessing Lin Huang's powerful ability with their own eyes, none of them were willing to take action. After all, they would not suffer a great loss even if they gave away a portion. However, what happened in the end? Longao chose to ignore them completely. He said coldly, "Since all of you don't want to leave, all of you can stay." There was an uproar. Longao's meaning was very clear. Was he going to take action? Lu Rulan, in particular, was very grateful. If it had been anyone else, they definitely would not have dared to do so. Just as everyone had guessed, Longao took action right away. He fought over 20 martial artists alone. Under his frenzied attacks, they fell one after another. Within a short few minutes, apart from a few half-step lords, Longao had killed all of them. "Your Excellency, please stop. Let's go." "You want to leave?" Since things had turned out this way, there was no way Longao would let this go. He would eliminate the source of trouble and prevent any future trouble. Even if he were facing half-step lords, he would still kill them without hesitation. The few remaining martial artists were thoroughly enraged. They had never expected that Lin Huang would not let them go even after they had chosen to give way. This was an absolute humiliation. Primordial spirit shackles. Crack, crack, crack. With primordial spirit shackles and a successful breakthrough to high-level higher god, Longao was practically the most powerful person below Lord. Even half-step lords who had comprehended two-dimensional space were no match for Longao. Dozens of minutes later, Lu Rulan and the other two were completely dumbfounded when they saw the ground littered with corpses. They had witnessed Longao's power with their own eyes. He could even kill half-step lords. However, they had never imagined that Longao could even kill half-step lords who had comprehended two-dimensional space. His ability was enough to make him the true most powerful person below lords. With such powerful ability, he was practically invincible in the lower levels of Heavenly Road. Looking at the grade 6 beast pill in her hand, Lu Rulan took it out anyway. She said, "Brother Long, although I know that you're not helping us because you're after our grade 6 beast pill, if it weren't for you this time, forget about keeping this grade 6 beast pill, we don't even know if we could have survived." Chapter 2955. There was no need to elaborate on the value of a level 6 beast pill. It would be a lie to say that he did not want it. You're a good person. You can be considered half a friend. I've already said that. Before Longao could finish speaking, Lu Rulan had already said, "Brother Long, if you don't mind, we're friends. Since we're friends, this beast pill is yours. If you decline, it means that you don't want to treat me as a friend." Lu Rulan's attitude was very firm as she handed the beast pill to Longao. On the other hand, the other two, whether it was Lu Bo or Lu Chong, they looked reluctant. They dared not voice their anger. They had already witnessed how powerful Longao was. Even if they were extremely unwilling, they could only swallow it down. "Cousin, these are the divine weapons." Their intentions were clear. Apart from the beast pill, they had also obtained many divine weapons this time. Now that they had handed over the beast pill, would they have to hand over the divine weapons as well? If that was the case, it would be too much of a pain in the ass. Before Lu Rulan could speak, Longao had already said, "You can keep these divine weapons. I'm not interested in them at all." They finally heaved a sigh of relief. "Lu Rulan, Brother Long, if you don't mind, you can call me Rulan." Nodding, Longao said, "Rulan, it's almost unnecessary for a peak high god to go to the lower level of Heavenly Road unless you're extremely lucky." The lower level of Heavenly Road was fraught with danger. One wrong step and one would be doomed eternally. How could Lu Rulan not know about this? After a deep sigh, Lu Rulan said helplessly, "Brother Long, there are some things that even I can't control." This was the tragedy of being a large family. You had to do whatever the family told you to do. There was no way you could disobey. If I'm not mistaken, there's a training ground at the lower level of Heavenly Road that allows peak high gods to comprehend space power. Huh? What did that mean? Lu Rulin was no fool. Of course, she knew what Longao meant. To break through to Lord level from peak high god, even as a half-step Lord, one had to comprehend space power first. It was easy to think about it, but it was fraught with difficulties. Brother Long, do you know where it is? Yes. Can you take me there? Ever since he had broken through to become a peak high-level deity, he had been stuck at this level for several decades, unable to advance any further. His main objective for entering the heavenly path this time was to break through to half-step Lord. Comprehending space was the key to breaking through. Yes, but not the two of them. Why? Do you discriminate against us? Hearing that the other party was actually not allowing the two of them to go together, the two of them, who were originally extremely excited, were simply furious to the extreme. Both of their cultivations had already broken through to peak high god level. They were only a step away from officially breaking through to half-step lords. Unless it was to comprehend the power of space, no other method would work. If the two of them could go and comprehend spatial strength together, they might be able to break through from peak high-level gods to half-step lords. A half-step lord was the bridge between a peak higher god and a lord. But now? The other party actually didn't want the two of them to participate. How could they choose to give up such a good opportunity? Discrimination? Haha, weren't the two of you very arrogant before? If I remember correctly, you should be from the Lu family of the Thunder Heavenly region. Since that's the case, with such an awesome family, it shouldn't be difficult for you to comprehend spatial strength. Lu Rulin seemed to want to say something, but she did not know what to say. Longao, we admit that we were wrong before. Please be magnanimous and forgive us. At the thought of being able to comprehend spatial strength and become half-step lords, the two of them finally chose to put down their pride. In their opinion, the other party would definitely agree to their request on account of their cousin. In the end, with a cold smirk, Longao said coldly, "I'm sorry, but forgive me for not being able to help you." After he finished speaking, Longao left quickly with Lu Rulin. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared without a trace. Both of their expressions were very gloomy. Lu Bo said with a murderous aura, "One day, I'll let you know that the Lu family is not to be trifled with. Even if the two of them were given 10,000 guts, they definitely would not have dared to provoke the other party. A person who could even kill half-step lords. One could imagine what that meant." Brother Long, is the place you mentioned just now also in the valley? That's right. The place Longao was referring to was none other than the place where he had previously devoured Chaos Force. After using the Chaos Force in the cave to integrate his Dantian and Chaos Palace, Longao had already discovered that there was terrifying spatial strength in the cave. It could allow a higher god to sense spatial strength and elevate to half-step lords. However, what depressed Longao was that he alone could not comprehend the spatial strength in the cave at all. The reason was simple. There were two spatial formation cores in the cave. Someone had to sit in the formation cores at the same time and comprehend them at the same time. Only then could one successfully comprehend spatial strength and elevate to half-step lord. Left with no other choice, he could only leave the cave and look for the other person. In that case, he might be able to comprehend spatial strength in the cave and elevate to peak higher god or even become a half-step lord. Longao didn't hide anything. He roughly told her about the cave. Lu Rulin didn't care at all. In her opinion, this kind of mutually beneficial thing, not to mention herself, she believed that no matter who it was, no one would refuse. For all martial artists below half-step lord, the temptation of comprehending spatial strength was just too great. Even the powerful Lu family was powerless when it came to comprehending spatial strength. One could only rely on oneself when it came to such matters. Lu Rulin said with a smile, "Brother Long, thank you so much this time. If there's anything you need in the future, I'll definitely help you." "There's no need for that. The two of them entered the cave very quickly. Without any hesitation, they each took a spatial formation core and began to comprehend it. Just as Longao had guessed, the two of them sat in the formation cores at the same time and were able to comprehend spatial strength smoothly. As soon as they sat down in the formation cores, Lu Rulin was overjoyed. As expected, it seemed that she finally had hope of breaking through to Half-Step Lord after being stuck at her level for so many years. She did not dare to be distracted at all. She immediately put her heart and soul into comprehending, hoping to comprehend spatial strength as soon as possible so that she could elevate to Half-Step Lord. However, at that moment, a figure suddenly appeared and stared coldly at the two of them sitting in the formation cores. His face was filled with rage. Chapter 2956. Longao, what is the meaning of this? Looking at the figure that suddenly appeared, Longao was shocked to the extreme. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never have thought that he would meet Nangong Yin here. With Nangong Yin's talent and strength, it was not difficult for him to step into the Chaos Realm. However, the Chaos Realm was so big, but Nangong Yin appeared here. Previously, outside the valley, there were 9 stone platforms and a total of 36 people, including himself, but only Nangong Yin was not there. And to enter the valley, one must break the array. Since that was the case, how did Nangong Yin enter the valley? How did he enter this place? Brother Nangong, long time no see. How have you been? Nangong Yin's complexion didn't look too good. He coldly said, Longao, I saw this place first. I just had something to do and left. Yet you devoured the primal chaos energy here. Shouldn't you give me an explanation? Explanation? Explain your sister? Longao fiercely cursed in his heart and said, Nangong Yin, the chaos force here is fated to be obtained by people. Moreover, I didn't know that you had already come here. How can I explain it to you? All of a sudden, Nangong Yin suddenly laughed and said, Brother Long, I was just joking with you. Long time no see, I miss you. Whether Nangong Yin was an enemy or a friend, he still did not know. Intuition told Longao that Nangong Yin was definitely not as simple as he looked on the surface, like a ghost. What was going on? Brother Long, waving his hand, Longao said, I met an old friend, you stand aside first. Lu Rulin did not say anything and obediently stood aside. She was curious how this person entered the valley. After all, this person was not among the 36 people. Not only that, of the 36 people who entered the valley, more than 20 had been killed by Brother Long. The remaining dozen people were not unfamiliar to her. Is Qin Shuang okay? She's okay. Brother Long, it's really hard to imagine that Qin Shuang fell into a coma before awakening her primordial spirit. Awakening primordial spirit? It seemed that it was as he had guessed. Shuang was indeed a reincarnation, and she was his wife before. From this, it could be imagined that he should also be a reincarnation. Brother Nangong, I want to ask you something. I hope you can answer me truthfully. As if he had already guessed what Longao was thinking, Nangong Yin didn't refuse, nor did he agree. A stone table appeared. Please have a seat. Longao, Nangong Yin, and Lu Rulin all sat down at the same time, and the dishes had already appeared on the stone table. This is Lu Rulin, my younger sister. She's from the Lu clan of the Thunder Heavenly Domain. Longao had a good impression of Lu Rulin, but there wasn't the slightest feeling between a man and a woman. It was more of a sibling relationship. Lu Rulin didn't say anything. She just clenched her fists tightly in her sleeves. The Thunder Heavenly Domain's Lu family is a pretty powerful family. If there's a chance in the future, I'll definitely pay them a visit. Nangong Yin's smile was very strange. Brother Nangong, I want to ask you, do you know about Shuang's previous life? Longao believed in his intuition. If there was no accident, then this Nangong Yin in front of him must know about Shuang Shuang's past life, and even his own past life. Nangong Yin smiled. Yes, I do know. Just as expected. Can you tell me? Longao was very much looking forward to it. He didn't know what kind of person his past life was, but he was sure of one thing, and that was that he and Qin Shuang's past life were definitely husband and wife. There was no doubt about that. Nangong Yin shook his head and said helplessly, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. If I reveal this matter, it will affect my Tao, and it will be very difficult for me to step onto the peak in the future. Since Nangong Yin didn't want to say, Longao didn't continue to ask, because he knew very well that if Nangong Yin wanted to say it, there was no need for him to ask, as Nangong Yin would take the initiative to tell him. If Nangong Yin didn't want to say it, then no matter how he asked, it would be nonsense. Brother Long, I can only tell you one thing, Miss Shuang is your wife. Longao fiercely cursed in his heart. There was no need for Nangong Yin to say anything. He already knew this matter, so he said, My past life and Shuang, are we enemies or friends? In the end, Longao still asked, but he felt very uncomfortable in his heart, because in his view, he couldn't see through Nangong Yin at all, but Nangong Yin seemed to know him very well. Enemies or friends? Ha ha ha, Brother Long, you shouldn't ask about the past. When you awaken your soul in the future, you will naturally know everything. At that time, whether we are enemies or friends, you will naturally know. This ambiguous matter made Longao very afraid of Nangong Yin, because in such a long time, he couldn't see through Nangong Yin's strength. Ha ha, Brother Long, you must be very curious. What is my current strength? Longao didn't say anything, but the expression on his face had already explained everything. Peak Divine Emperor. Although he had already guessed that Nangong Yin's current strength was definitely not simple, but he still didn't expect that Nangong Yin's strength was already so formidable. Peak Divine Emperor, standing at the peak of the Chaos World. Brother Long, since you've already devoured the primal chaos energy here, if I'm not wrong, your Dantian has already formed a realm of its own. As your cultivation continues to increase, your Dan realm will also become more and more complete. Longao was completely shocked. Longao naturally knew what Nangong Yin was referring to. After devouring the power of primal chaos, his Dantian and the primal chaos realm had completely fused and formed an independent space. Just as Nangong Yin had said, as his strength continued to increase, his Dan world would also become more and more perfect. So much so that in the end, his Dan world would be able to form a piece of primal chaos, which was the so-called primal chaos realm. If this matter was spread out, perhaps no one would know about it. I wonder how Brother Nangong knows about this? Nangong Yin looked at Lu Rulin. His meaning was very clear. Lu Rulin also tactfully stood up and said, Brother Long, I will wait for you outside. After Lu Rulin left, Nangong Yin said, Brother Long, whether it is your Chaos Axe or Chaos Palace, in fact, they are treasures that existed at the beginning of the chaos. Only when your Dantian has fused with Chaos Palace can you truly form your own Chaos Dantian, which is the so-called Chaos World. My 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror is actually called Chaos Reincarnation Mirror, and my Chaos Bead are also treasures that existed at the beginning of the chaos. My Dantian has already fused with Chaos Bead, so I am one step ahead of you. Hearing Nangong Yin's words, Longao was completely stunned. Chapter 2957. Who the hell are you? This was simply too shocking. Ever since he had obtained the Chaos Palace and the Chaos Axe, no one knew about them. Apart from his wives, not even his grandfather knew. How did Nangong Yin know? How could Nangong Yin not know what Longao was thinking? Brother Long, it doesn't matter who I am. It's not the time for you to know yet. I've already said that once your strength reaches a certain level and you awaken your primordial spirit, you'll naturally know who I am. Nangong Yin clearly did not want to say, and Long Ao did not continue to ask. As for how I know about your secret, it's the same. Once your primordial spirit truly awakens, you'll know what I know as well. Awaken his primordial spirit. Long Ao was rather impatient at Nangong Yin's words. Brother Nangong, what do I have to do to awaken my primordial spirit? I can't help you. No one can help you. You can only rely on yourself. He shook his head helplessly. Brother Long, since you've already obtained chaos energy, I'll give you a suggestion. Why don't you head to the upper levels of the Heavenly Road and have a look? Even now, Nangong Yin had not said how he had entered the valley. Nangong Yin did not say anything, and Long Ao did not ask. As for the upper levels of the Heavenly Road is divided into 2 levels. My cultivation base has yet to break through to the upper levels, so I can't set foot there at all. This was something everyone knew. Nangong Yin smiled and said, Others definitely can't, but you and I can. Brother Long, the upper levels of the Heavenly Road not only have things that I need, but they also have things that you need. At this point, if Long Ao still did not understand, then he really had water in his head. If that's the case, then I'll take my leave. I won't see you out. Long Ao did not stay. He stood up and turned to leave. Nangong Yin's lips slowly curled into a meaningful smile. It was a very strange smile. Outside the tunnel. Rulin, I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you this time. Lu Rulin smiled and said, Don't worry, Brother Long. My cultivation base has already reached peak high god level. When I return to my clan this time, I'll immediately go into closed-door cultivation to comprehend spatial power. Who knows, I might be able to elevate to half-step lord. Since things had already come to this, Long Ao didn't have a good solution. Let's go, let's leave the valley first. The two left the valley as fast as they could. Long Ao was preparing to head to the upper levels of Heaven's Road, so of course he could not bring Lu Rulin along. Rulin, wait for your 2 cousins here. I'll take my leave now. Brother Long, after leaving the valley, will you head to the Thunder Heavenly Domain? How could Long Ao not know what Lu Rulin meant? The entire chaotic world was divided into 99 heavenly domains. Unless he had something to do, he wouldn't go to the Thunder Heavenly Domain for no reason. Long Ao did not refuse immediately. He smiled and said, If I have something to do in the future, I will go to the Thunder Heavenly Domain. I'll wait for you. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Lu Rulin sighed helplessly. Cousin, do you like this person? As soon as Long Ao left, Lu Bo and Lu Chong had already walked out of the darkness not far away. In fact, the two had already left the valley. After experiencing life and death in the valley, they really didn't want to continue staying inside. The two of them were very clear that if they left now, it would be like looking for a needle in the sea to find their cousin in the endless heavens road. Unless they were very lucky. In desperation, the two of them could only stay outside the valley and wait for their cousin to come out. No. Cousin, how can you hide your thoughts from us? We just want to remind you that your identity is not compatible with his. If this matter is known by the family, think about the consequences. Lu Rulin didn't say anything. She just watched quietly. After leaving, Long Ao did not immediately head to the upper levels of Heaven's Road. Instead, he prepared to find Xiao He. Just as he arrived at the black fog space, a black figure had already rushed out. It was none other than Xiao He. Xiao He, what is the mysterious power that summoned you? Is it helpful to you? Xiao He's face was filled with surprise. He said excitedly, I received the power of inheritance. It just fused with my own inheritance. Big brother, I have a feeling that I seem to have known you for a long time. It's not a year, nor is it 3 or 5 years. It's been countless years. Especially after receiving the inheritance, this feeling is getting stronger. Longao's face was very serious. Of course, he knew what Xiao He meant. First, it was Qin Shuang, then Xiao He. It seemed that not only were Qin Shuang and him reincarnated, even Xiao He was probably reincarnated. Xiao He will talk about this later. The most important thing now is to head to the upper levels of Heaven's Road. If there are no accidents, there should be something we need in the upper levels. In the lower levels of Heaven's Road, he had used the power of chaos to fuse his Dantian and the Chaos Palace. Xiao He had also received the inheritance. There was no doubt that the upper levels of Heaven's Road would have something he and Xiao He needed. Alright. Xiao He wanted to head to the upper levels of Heaven's Road anyway, so the two of them headed straight to the entrance. The Heaven's Road was divided into two levels. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible for anyone below Lord level to step onto the upper levels. Even half-step lords who had comprehended 20% of space power, were not qualified to step onto the upper levels of Heaven's Road. In reality, the two of them were not completely confident that they could step onto the upper levels of Heaven's Road. No matter what, they had to give it a try. Soon, the two of them arrived at the entrance to the upper levels of Heaven's Road. The two of them, who had been in a state of panic, were immediately teleported out as soon as they stepped through the entrance. Until now, the two of them were still in a daze. They had no idea what had happened at all. Why were they able to step onto the upper levels of Heaven's Road without being restricted by their abilities? The chaos spiritual power in the upper levels of Heaven's Road was far above that of the lower levels. It was tens of times higher. Not only that, but there was also space power in the upper levels. When lords entered the upper levels of Heaven's Road, not only could they continue to comprehend space power, but they could even take the opportunity to truly master space power and advance to become a godly king. Longao and Xiao He, who had just stepped onto the upper levels of Heaven's Road, were pleasantly surprised. Based on the intensity of the space power, they believed that the two of them could completely comprehend space power. Even becoming a true lord would not be difficult, let alone becoming a half-step lord. Brother, what should we do now? Should we look for Nangongchen, or should we find a place to cultivate and comprehend space power first? Xiao He put Longao's priority above all else. He would do whatever he said. Let's cultivate first. We'll set off when my cultivation base breaks through to peak high god level. Chapter 2958. High-level higher gods had mastered 90% of the Golden Core territory. To break through to peak higher god, one had to master 90% of the Golden Core territory. This was neither difficult nor easy. For Longao, it was indeed not too difficult. In just a few short days, Longao had already mastered 10% of his Golden Core territory. His cultivation base had successfully broken through from high-level high god to peak-level high god. As for Xiao He, he was still a peak-level high god and had yet to break through to half-step lords. Comprehending space power, Longao and Xiao He had underestimated the situation. Only when they truly comprehended space power did they realize how difficult it was to succeed. Xiao He, wait. Big brother, what's wrong? Xiao He looked at his big brother curiously. He did not know why his big brother was suddenly like this. At this moment, Longao's expression was very serious. He said, I don't know why, but I keep feeling like someone is locking onto us. This person is very powerful. At the very least, he's a peak lord. Big brother, are you mistaken? I'm sure I'm right. Longao was very confident in his intuition. The world was big, and there were too many capable people. For example, Nangong was already a peak godly emperor, but he could enter the lower level of Heavenly Road. If news of this spread, no one would believe it. According to the two levels of Heavenly Road, Those below Lord could not enter the upper level, but Lords could not enter the lower level. But the result? Nangong-een was a peak godly emperor, but he could still stay in the lower level of heavenly road. Seeing his big brother's expression become more and more serious, Xiao He already knew that things were getting troublesome. He immediately became alert. To be able to do it silently was already a testament to the other party's ability. Others might not know, but how could Xiao He not know his big brother's ability? Even a godly emperor would not be able to do it without anyone noticing. Big brother, what should we do now? Wait and see. Longao could not lock onto the other party's aura. For the time being, he really did not know what to do. Nether Tiger. Nether Tiger? Xiao He, you can lock onto the other party's aura? Hearing what Xiao He said, Longao was overjoyed. The most mysterious thing was the scariest. Now that he knew what the other party was, it was not as scary as he had imagined. Big brother, actually, I don't know what a nether tiger is either. Ever since I obtained the inheritance in the lower levels of Heaven's Road, 3 words naturally appeared in my mind. So that was the case. As expected. At this moment, a huge black tiger appeared in front of the two of them. Its entire body emitted a faint black light. Even if it was right in front of them, they wouldn't be able to sense its aura, let alone hiding in the dark. What a terrifying nether tiger! Longao naturally knew what a lord-level nether tiger was. Big brother, be careful! Before Longao could react, the nether tiger in front of him had already begun its attack. However, Xiao He was even faster. In the blink of an eye, the two mythological beasts had already collided violently. If it was an ordinary level 4 spiritual beast, Blackie would be able to devour it directly. However, this nether tiger was a level 4 divine beast. Even Blackie could not devour it forcefully. Not only was Blackie unable to devour it, but it was also being suppressed by the nether tiger. It was having a hard time fighting it. Naturally, Longao was not going to sit there and wait for his death. The primal chaos axe appeared in his hand, and he swung it viciously at the nether tiger. His speed was also pushed to the limit. He had to admit that the nether tiger was indeed very powerful. Even if Longao and Xiao He were to work together, they would still find it difficult to suppress the nether tiger. Longao? At that moment, 2 figures walked out from not too far away. Longao, who was in the midst of a fierce battle with the nether tiger, caught sight of the 2 figures from the corner of his eyes. He was shocked to the extreme. Master Clairvoyant? Yi Dugu? Back then, Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu had suddenly disappeared into the vast starry sky. Even now, Longao could not figure out why the 2 of them would suddenly choose to leave. After all, the 2 of them had yet to grasp the power of primal chaos. They had suddenly left at the most critical moment. According to Sister Yun, Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu were most likely hiding their strength. That was why Longao could not figure out why the 2 of them would choose to hide their strength. Since leaving Scarlet Fire Town, Longao had encountered countless enemies, including Nangong Fengyun and Nangong Chun. He had never felt like he could not see through them. There were only 2 people who gave him such a feeling. One was Nangong-een, and the other was Master Clairvoyant. What was going on? This time, after entering the Heavenly Road, he had met Nangong-een in the lower level and Master Clairvoyant in the upper level. Could it be a coincidence? It was definitely not a coincidence. Of course, Longao already knew that Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu had entered the primal chaos realm. However, he did not expect that the 2 of them would also come to the Heavenly Road. According to the strength limit of the upper level of the Heavenly Road, if nothing unexpected happened, the 2 of them had already broken through to the Over-God realm. Longao did not continue to attack the nether tiger. The way he saw it, Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu were far more dangerous than the nether tiger. The nether tiger could also clearly sense that the 2 people who had just appeared were very powerful. It coldly looked at them, then quickly turned and left. In the blink of an eye, it had disappeared without a trace. Longao, it seems that you are really lucky to be able to live until now. I have to admire you. Yidugu's face was filled with disdain. He also couldn't figure out why his father wanted to take him away from the vast starry sky. So what if there were a few low-level deities? Master Clairvoyant waved his hand and said with a smile, Longao, your cultivation speed is too slow. According to your talent, you should be an overgod by now. Instead, you are still a peak higher god. You have disappointed me. Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to my boss like that? Blackie's face was full of anger. So what if the other party was an overgod? With him and his boss working together, even if they were not a match for a peak overgod, it would not be easy for the other party to deal with the two of them. Master Clairvoyant was not angry at all. He smiled at Blackie and suddenly said, Tion, you are still the same. Your personality has not changed at all. Tion? Blackie's name was Tion? Did Master Clairvoyant know Blackie? You know me? Even Blackie was very curious, let alone Longao. This was because even Blackie did not know his identity. He only knew that he was a heaven-devouring beast. Yes, I know you. If I am not wrong, you should be a chaos heaven-devouring beast. In the entire primal chaos realm, you are the only one. You can devour everything in the world, even the primal chaos realm. How terrifying! However, Longao's heart became more and more serious. Master Clairvoyant was becoming more and more mysterious and strange. Chapter 2959. Master Godly Mathematician, who are you? Not to mention Longao, even Yidugu did not know where his father came from. Ever since leaving the vast starry sky, Yidugu found that his father seemed to have become a different person. Yidugu did not say anything. Master Godly Mathematician smiled and said, You will naturally know my identity in the future. But right now, I just want to tell you that you have disappointed me. Disappointed? He seemed to have thought of something. Master Godly Mathematician, do you know Nangong-in? I don't know him. For some reason, Longao's intuition told him that Nangong-in was related to Master Godly Mathematician. Things were getting stranger and stranger. He did not know what was going on. Have you found Shuang Shuang? Qin Shuang Shuang? Hearing Master Godly Mathematician mention Qin Shuang Shuang, Longao was completely shocked. He could not figure out how Master Godly Mathematician knew about Qin Shuang Shuang. He had found Qin Shuang Shuang in the Xianxia starry sky. After falling unconscious, she had been in the Primal Chaos Palace. Other than Nangong-in, no one else knew about her. His wives were not included. Since that was the case, how did Master Godly Mathematician know about Shuang Shuang? You know Shuang Shuang? You have wronged Shuang Shuang. If you still haven't found her, I advise you to hurry up and find her. If anything happens to her, not only me, but also others will not let you off easily. Longao was not a fool. He naturally knew what Master Godly Mathematician meant. According to Master Godly Mathematician's words, if nothing unexpected happened, Master Godly Mathematician was also a reincarnation and knew him. He still felt uncomfortable. Whether it was Nangong-in or Master Godly Mathematician, they were very familiar with him and seemed to know about his previous life. However, he knew nothing about the two of them. He was too passive. Master Godly Mathematician, I don't understand what you mean. You can call me Yibu in the future. Yibu, Master Godly Mathematician's real name. It doesn't matter if you understand or not. You just need to remember one thing. Hurry up and find Shuang Shuang. Otherwise, even with Tion's help, you will still not be able to surpass reincarnation and prove the Tao of primal chaos. When the time comes, we will kill you and truly destroy you. Could it be destroyed? Longao did not care at all. Ever since he obtained the indestructible primordial spirit and the chaotic dantian, he was now truly immortal. Both his primordial spirit and body were immortal. Longao, goodbye. Wait, anything else? Yibu turned around and stared coldly at Longao. If not for the fact that the time was not right, he would have already made his move. He was fearless. Why did you leave the vast starry sky before? This was what Longao wanted to know the most. Not to mention him, even Yi Dugu was very curious and couldn't wait to know. Although Yi Dugu wanted to know, he didn't dare to ask. His father was no longer the same as before. Yi Dugu had a feeling that even if he did something wrong, his father would still kill him. Back then, I was at a critical moment in the process of awakening my Yuan spirit. There was no point in continuing to stay there. Only by heading to the chaotic realm could I truly awaken my Yuan spirit. It's all right. Longao did not have the slightest doubt. Besides this reason, there seemed to be no other reason why the godly mathematician would suddenly leave the vast starry sky with Yi Dugu. The godly mathematician and Yi Dugu turned and left. Longao's expression became more and more serious. His previous body. He had to awaken his Yuan spirit as soon as possible so that he could see what kind of person he was before he reincarnated, and what kind of relationship he had with Nangong Yin and the God Diviner. Even now, he still didn't know whether they were friends or foes. It was a bit ridiculous to say that they were friends. If they were enemies, how could Nangong Yin and the godly mathematician not attack? After all, their current strength was not something he could contend with. Thinking about it gave him a headache. Boss, do you think we can believe what the godly mathematician just said? Is my name really Tian? Chaotic heaven-swallowing beast. The chaotic heaven-swallowing beast. Although Xiao He and Longao did not know what it was, the name alone was terrifying enough. The chaotic heaven-swallowing beast. Longao glanced at Xiao He beside him and said, "It shouldn't be fake. It's just that we haven't awakened our Yuan spirits yet. We can't just listen to Nangong Yin and Yibu's side of the story. The most important thing now is that we have to find a way to awaken our Yuan spirits as soon as possible and find out what happened." It was easy to think about, but it was easier said than done. Nangong Yin and the godly mathematician definitely had a way to awaken their Yuan spirits, but they would not tell him. Longao knew very well that awakening his Yuan spirit was not as simple as he imagined. Boss, do you think the awakening of one's Yuan spirit has something to do with the inheritance? How could Longao not know what Xiao He was implying? He nodded and said, "If you can truly master the inheritance, you should be able to awaken your Yuan spirit." Understood. Longao and Xiao He immediately continued to comprehend space. No matter what, they had to elevate their abilities as soon as possible. Now that their cultivation had successfully broken through to peak high god level, they had to comprehend space power if they wanted to break through to half-step lord. In the Chaos Realm, there was no other place more suitable for him to comprehend space power than the Heavenly Road. Longao knew that he had to comprehend space power here, no matter what, and become a half-step lord. Otherwise, once he left this place, he would have to spend a lot more time to continue comprehending space power. On the upper level of the Heavenly Road. Ever since they stepped onto the upper level of the Heavenly Road, Han Yin and Dongfang Tuing had gone their separate ways. As for Nangong Chen, he entered the upper level of the Heavenly Road this time in hopes of mastering space power as soon as possible so that he could become a godly king. However, Nangong Chen had something more important to do in the Heavenly Road this time, which was to kill Dongfang Tuing and Han Yin, as well as any overgods from the Pill Hall. From Nangong Chen's point of view, as long as he could kill all of them, he could secretly deal with Longao. By then, the Pill Hall would be beyond his reach. After searching for dozens of days, Nangong Chen finally found Han Yin. However, Han En had already fought with dozens of people from the pill hall. Even so, Nangong Chen still went all out and killed all of them. If it were not for Han Yin's trump card, she would have died by now. Han En was being hunted down by Nangong Chen and the rest. There were a total of over 20 overgods. Among them, Nangong Chen and a few others were peak overgods. It was difficult for them to fight alone. Just like that, Han En was being hunted down by over 20 overgods. She was almost killed a few times. Nangong Chen, do you know what the consequences of your actions are? Can your Blackrock City withstand the wrath of the pill hall? Chapter 2960. Pill Hall. If this were outside, Nangong Chen would definitely be wary of the pill hall. Even his father was wary of the pill hall, let alone him. Otherwise, he would not have let Longao off earlier on. However, the situation right now was completely different. He scoffed coldly. Nangong Chen said coldly, Han En, do you know why I didn't kill you? Humph. Han En snorted coldly without replying. If you were to become my daughter. Ha 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 ha. He laughed out maniacally. Nangong Chen's meaning was clear. Hearing that, Han Yin's expression changed instantly. She yelled out furiously, You beast! Even if I die, I won't let you have your way. Is that so? Just as Nangong Chen was about to strike, two figures appeared instantly. One of them was a gigantic creature that opened its mouth wide and tried to devour the 20-odd people in a frenzy. Everyone was taken aback. Longao, ha! There's a path to heaven, but you chose to barge into hell instead. I'd like to see how you're going to leave this place alive today. Looking at the two figures that appeared out of nowhere, one of them being Longao, Nangong Chen was shocked at first. Then, his face was filled with joy. Be it Nangong Chen or Han En, they could not figure out why Longao would appear here. The heavenly road was split into two levels. Only lords could enter the upper level of the heavenly road. Even half-step lords could not enter, let alone upper gods. How in the world did Longao do that? Little brother Long, hurry up and leave. Looking at the figures that appeared out of nowhere, Han En said worriedly. Longao was only a pinnacle upper god. He was not even a half-step lord yet. How could he fight against 20-odd lords? There were even a few pinnacle lords among them. What a joke. Longao didn't say much nonsense. He also didn't expect to meet Sister Han. It was hard to imagine. If he had arrived a little later, what would have happened to Sister Han? It was impossible for him to fight against 20-odd people alone. Just like what Nangong Chen had said earlier, even if he were to use force, Sister Han might not be able to do anything about it. Rage. His boundless rage turned into surging killing intent. Even though he knew that he was no match for the other party, he still could not suppress the rage in his heart. He began to madly attack Nangong Chen and the others. Blackie, devour as many as you can. All right. Xiao He laughed maniacally. At his current level of ability, he could only devour mid-level lords. Crack. Everyone was shocked when they saw the divine beast swallow a low-level lord in one gulp. They had seen terrifying divine beasts before, but they had never seen one as terrifying as this. Kill. Nangong Chen watched as a low-level lord was devoured in just a few seconds. How could he not be furious? It seemed that ever since he met Longao, he had never felt comfortable. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He could completely ignore the pill hall. But now, he had no scruples at all. Xiao Hei's ability of swallow the heavens was indeed powerful, but he gradually became unable to fend off so many overgods. Let's go. Longao pulled Han En up and left with Xiao Hei at his fastest speed. His speed was even at its peak. In just a short while, the three of them had disappeared without a trace. Nangong Chen would definitely not let this go. He quickly chased after them with the others. "Where is he?" Nangong Chen roared furiously when he saw that there was no one around. He could not even lock onto the other party's aura. However, the people behind him looked helpless. This time, Han Yin and Longao had escaped. It would not be so easy to continue locking on to the other party. City Lord, Longao must not have gone far. Why don't we lock onto this place? Not far away. Just as the person had guessed, Longao had not gone far. He had found a secluded place to stop temporarily. This was because Han Yin was severely injured. When I leave the heavenly road, I will definitely report this matter to the pill hall. Nangong Chen, just wait to be hunted down. Han Yin was furious. She had never thought that Nangong Chen would dare to attack her. However, Han Yin knew that Nangong Chen must have predicted that this would be a foolproof plan. After all, no one knew what had happened in the heavenly road. Sister Han, I've implicated you this time. Longao was more or less blaming himself and feeling guilty. This was because if it was not for him, Nangong Chen would not have dared to attack Sister Han. How could Longao not understand Nangong Chen's intention? As long as Han Yin and Dongfang Tuing were not dead, Nangong Chen and Nangong Fengfeng would not be able to do anything to him. They would not even be able to do it behind his back. The only way was to kill the two of them first and then deal with him behind his back. This way, no one would know about it. Even the pill hall would not be able to find out anything. Han Yin smiled and said indifferently, "You're still a member of the pill hall. Don't say such things in the future. Just because you call me sister, I will definitely take care of your matter. Brother Long, don't worry. This time, Nangong Chen was the one who brought about his own death." Han Yin's identity was there. She was the daughter of the pill hall's hall master. Nangong Chen was originally very confident. However, now that he had failed, he could imagine the consequences. This time, even with the help of the Domain Lord's manor, Nangong Chen would probably have to run away in the future. Longao's expression was solemn. He said, "Nangong Chen definitely won't let this go if we fail this time. We have to get rid of him as soon as possible." How could Han Yin not know what Longao meant? She nodded and said, "I know that very well. However, it's indeed not easy for us to get rid of Nangong Chen and the rest. If that's the case, let's not run away. We'll take them down one by one." Hearing Longao's words, Han Yin was shocked. She said, "With just the three of our abilities, can we do it? Kill as many as you can." Han Yin did not say much. Instead, she asked, "Brother Long, how did you enter the upper level of Heavenly Road?" Due to the restriction of abilities, it was impossible for high-level gods to enter the upper level of Heavenly Road. Even half-step lords could not enter. Because of that, Han Yin could not understand how Brother Long had managed to do it. "Sister Han, I actually don't know either. Xiao He and I were just trying, but we didn't expect to enter the upper level without any hindrance. Until then, even Longao and Xiao He had no idea what was going on. However, they knew very well what it would mean if word of this were to spread. Brother, what should we do now?" Xiao He was excited. He could not wait to attack immediately because the power that a lord possessed was incomparable to that of a high-level god. "I've already said that we'll take them down one by one. I don't believe that we can't kill them." Chapter 2961. It was easy to say, but it was extremely difficult to actually do it. There were more than 20 lords, and there were even peak lords among them. Nangong Chen and the rest were not fools. How could they possibly split up and allow themselves to be defeated one by one? That would be a joke. Nangong Chen and the rest seemed to have guessed Longao's intention. No matter how they provoked them, they would not split up. Even Longao could not do anything about it. It was very frustrating. Brother, if my cultivation base can improve further, I'll be able to devour high-level lords. Longao had a rough understanding of Xiao Hei's situation. Xiao Hei's situation was very special. Although he possessed the incredible Devour Divine ability, it was more difficult for him to improve his cultivation base compared to others. It was not an easy task to break through from a high-level lord to a beginner lord. Xiao Hei, do you have a way to break through? Not at the moment. That was as good as not saying anything. Looks like we'll have to use the formation. Longao had wanted to use the formation to deal with Nangong Chen and the rest. However, it was very difficult to set up a formation. Although he was already a level 4 formation master, his opponents were too powerful. An ordinary level 4 formation could not succeed at all. Time did not allow for it. However, under the current circumstances, they had to set up a formation even if they did not allow for it. Xiao Hei helped Longao set up the formation while Han Yin focused on recovering from her injuries. After 3 whole days and nights, Longao had barely managed to set up a powerful level 4 formation master. It was still unknown whether he could kill high-level and peak lords, especially peak lords. There was no need to spend much effort at all. Longao and Han Yin only had to casually step out, and Nangong Chen and the rest were already chasing after them. They did not care about anything else at all. Without a doubt, Nangong Chen and the rest entered the formation. They did not dare to hesitate at all. Longao immediately activated the formation, and Han Yin took charge of the formation core. He and Xiao Hei entered the formation as well. As soon as they stepped into the formation, a level 4 formation, the expressions of Nangong Chen and the rest changed abruptly. They were extremely gloomy. Of course, they knew that Longao was a formation master, and a level 3 one at that. Since that was the case, how had Longao set up a level 4 formation? It was common knowledge. In order to set up a level 4 array formation, one must be a level 4 array master. What was going on? Could it be that Longao was no longer a level 3 array master but a level 4 array master? Thinking of this, Nangong Chen and the others were shocked by Longao's talent. In such a short time, not only had Longao become a level 4 pill inscription master, but he had also become a level 4 array master. It was truly unbelievable. The more it was like this, the murderous intent in Nangong Chen's heart intensified, and he couldn't wait to kill Longao. Heaven's Road lower level. The divine mathematician and Yi Dugu had already come down from the upper levels. To him, Heaven's Road did not have any restrictions on strength. Yi Bu, long time no see. How have you been? Looking at the man in front of him, the god diviner smiled and said, Nangong Yin, after all these years you're still the same? The divine mathematician and Nangong Yin knew each other, but Longao had already guessed this. You've met Longao? The divine mathematician smiled and said, Not only have we met, but we've also known each other for many years. He's always the same, looking like he needs a beating. If it weren't for the primal chaos Tao, I would have torn him to pieces. Primal chaos Tao. Hearing the words primal chaos Tao, Nangong Yin's eyes suddenly lit up. It was precisely because of the primal chaos Tao that some things couldn't be done, at least not now. You and I have waited for so many years. We didn't hesitate to reincarnate just to prove the primal chaos Tao. We definitely won't give up so easily. The divine mathematician also had a bitter expression. For the primal chaos Tao, he had lost so much. Yidugu didn't dare to speak because even now, he still didn't know what was going on. He didn't even know about the primal chaos Tao. Longao has found Shuang, but we don't know if she's dead or alive. Hearing this, the divine mathematician's expression suddenly changed, and an unparalleled murderous intent rose from his body. If it weren't for the fact that he was suppressing the anger in his heart, he would have directly gone to the upper level to kill Longao. What's going on? Nangong Yin didn't hide anything, and gave a rough account of what happened in the Xianxia starry sky. Humph, how shameless! He actually used Shuang's power to restore his Yuan spirit. The divine mathematician's face was full of contempt. Nangong Yin said, "Now, not only is Longao's Yuan spirit indestructible, but his body is also indestructible. Even if you and I attack together, we won't be able to successfully kill him. We might even damage the primal chaos Tao. At that time, you and I will be, okay, I know." The divine mathematician was very angry. Everything was because of the primal chaos Tao. Nangong Yin, you'd better not interfere with Shuang's matter. Otherwise, don't blame me for not taking into account the past. Nangong Yin sneered in his heart, but said, "I know what to do, but I still have to remind you. Don't deal with Longao now. Everything is for the primal chaos Tao." After saying that, Nangong Yin turned and left. "You really want to know, don't you?" "Yes, father." It would be a lie to say that he didn't want to know. Yi Dugu knew very well that his father was definitely not simple. Especially after his Yuan spirit awakened, his body seemed to have a kind of power, an unparalleled power, as if he was looking down on the firmament. This feeling was very strange, and he couldn't explain it clearly. What was the primal chaos Tao that his father and Nangong Yin talked about? "Although you are my son, I still have to tell you. What should I tell you? I will naturally tell you. What you shouldn't tell you, you don't have to ask. Otherwise, even if you are my son, I will still kill you." If it was before, his father would definitely not be like this. But looking at his father in front of him, Yi Dugu's heart trembled. His father was definitely not joking with him. "I understand, father." He didn't dare to continue asking and bowed respectfully. "The primal chaos Tao. Even with my help, you can't reach such a height. I hope you can comprehend life and death." Could it be that he really couldn't? Yi Dugu was very angry. He originally thought that his father would help him reach the peak of the martial path, but he didn't expect that his father would reject him with a single sentence. In Yi Dugu's opinion, the reason why his father didn't want to help him was because he was selfish. He didn't want anyone to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with him. He was angry, but he didn't dare to say anything. Ignoring his son, Yibu looked at the gradually disappearing figure. His face grew gloomier and gloomier. A figure appeared in his mind. He clenched his fist. For the primal chaos Tao, he had to endure. Shuang, the moment I prove the primal chaos Tao, I will avenge you." Chapter 2962. Inside the formation. Longao and Xiao Hei's teamwork could be said to be a nightmare for the Nangong floor and the others. Lords died one after another. In less than 10 minutes, all of the beginner-level and intermediate-level lords had been killed. Including Nangong, the number of high-level and peak-level lords that remained was reduced to 6. Only 6 people were left out of 20. What did that mean? One should know that. The 6 people from the Nangong floor looked gloomier and gloomier. If the situation continued, the 6 of them might not end well. However, the 6 of them could not figure out why Longao did not attack. It was not that Longao did not want to, but the formation did not allow it. As it turned out, in order to fight the other lords, Longao had used up the formation limitlessly. It was not enough to continue attacking. If they attacked forcefully, they might go for wool and come home shorn. They had no choice. Longao and Xiao Hei, including Han Yin, immediately and quietly disappeared. As for Nangong Chen and the other 5, they waited for an entire 2 hours. Out of curiosity, they forcibly attacked the formation. However, they did not expect the formation to be so weak. They had been tricked. Nangong Chen was almost certain that Longao's level 4 formation could only deal with beginner and intermediate lords. As for advanced and peak lords, it did not have the ability to deal with them at all. He was filled with regret. He had missed such a rare opportunity just like that. City Governor, what should we do now? If not for this, Nangong Chern definitely would not have continued wasting time. However, the situation was completely different now. He had killed many people from the pill hall, including Han Yin. She had almost died in his hands. Nangong Chen was certain that if Han Yin were to leave Heavenly Road alive, the consequences would be unimaginable. Kill! No matter what happened, they could not let Han Yin leave Heavenly Road alive. City Governor, Longao is a level 4 formation master. It'll be difficult for us to kill him alone. How could Nangong Chen not know what his subordinate meant? It was indeed a troublesome matter. In the distance, Longao, we've already killed so many overgods. We're not his opponent at all. Why don't we end things here for now? Once we leave the Heaven's Way, someone will deal with him, Jianchen said. If it were any other time, Longao would definitely not give up so easily. But now, the situation was obviously different. Yes, we'll do as Sister Han says. He dared to chase after the daughter of the Pill Hall's hall master. If the Pill Hall knew about this, it was easy to imagine what the consequences would be. If Nangong Chen really left the Heavenly Road, even with Nangong Fengfeng's protection, he would still be hunted down by the Pill Hall. The most important thing now was to find what belonged to him. Ever since he met Nangong Yin and godly mathematician Yi Bu, Longao also wanted to awaken his primordial spirit. As long as his primordial spirit did not awaken, he would not know much about the two of them. Being in a passive state made him feel uncomfortable. Sister Han, have you seen Big Brother Dongfang? He shook his head helplessly. No. Ever since we entered the Heaven's Way, Big Brother Dongfang and I have been teleported to different places. After such a long time, I still haven't found Big Brother Dongfang. There was only one way to not be teleported to other places, and that was to hold hands. However, Big Brother Dongfang and Sister Han would definitely not do that. So, there was only one outcome, and that was to be teleported to different places. We have to find Big Brother Dongfang as soon as possible. Since Nangong Chern dared to chase after you, he will definitely deal with Big Brother Dongfang. Alright. However, the upper level of the Heaven's Way was boundless. Finding a person was like finding a needle in the ocean. Big Brother, I sensed it. Not only Xiao He, but Longao also sensed it. As expected, it was the same as the lower level of the Heaven's Way. It seemed like the upper level of the Heaven's Way was the same as the lower level. In the lower level of the Heaven's Way, he had devoured the primal chaos energy. The primal chaos palace and his dantian had completely fused together, becoming undying and indestructible. Longao was really looking forward to it. He did not know what he would encounter in the upper level of the Heaven's Way. Sister Han, Xiao He and I have to find something first. Let's go. In the lower level of the Heaven's Way, the two of them had gone to different places to obtain different opportunities. However, after entering the upper level of the Heaven's Way, the two of them gradually discovered that the place they sensed was actually the same place. Divine Mathematician, since you're here, why don't you show yourself? Looking at the two figures that suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao's expression was very solemn. He did not know what was going on with the Divine Mathematician and why he had appeared again. The Divine Mathematician's expression was very gloomy. He originally did not want to come again. However, when he heard Nangong Yin mention Qin Shuang Shuang, he could not hold back the anger in his heart. He coldly said, Longao, let me ask you something. Is Qin Shuang Shuang in your dantian? The current Longao had already fused with the Primal Chaos Palace. In other words, his dantian was the Primal Chaos Palace and the Primal Chaos Palace was his dantian. Therefore, Qin Shuang Shuang was actually in his dantian. So what if I am? Longao did not know how the divine mathematician knew. This matter was very strange. Apart from his wives, it seemed that only Nangong-yin knew about this. Could it be that Nangong-yin and the divine mathematician knew each other? Was it Nangong-yin who told the divine mathematician about this? However, the divine mathematician had already said that he did not know Nangong-yin. Humph! Divine mathematician, I really want to know who told you about this. Was it Nangong-yin? The divine mathematician also knew that he had been reckless this time and exposed a flaw. He said, "So what if it was him? You should know that Shuang will only die if she follows you. You should hand her over to me." Impossible. Before the divine mathematician could finish speaking, Longao coldly interrupted him. This was a complete joke. He had always felt that Shuang was his own. Now he was almost certain that they were both reincarnations. If that was the case, how could he hand her over to the divine mathematician? Longao, you should know that the current you is no match for me. If you insist on doing this, I'd rather not use the grand Tao of primal chaos to kill you. Yi Bu, you're going too far. At this moment, Nangong-yin's figure suddenly appeared. Looking at the two of them, Han-yin was shocked to the extreme. Whether it was Nangong-yin or the divine mathematician, neither of them seemed to be sovereigns. They were existences above sovereigns. Since that was the case, how were the two of them able to enter the upper levels of the heavenly path? It wasn't just the two of them. Even Longao was only a high god. Yet, he was able to enter the upper levels of the heavenly path without being restricted by their strength. Chapter 2963. With Nangong-yin's appearance, Longao was almost certain that Nangong-yin and Master Godly Mathematician knew each other. Master Godly Mathematician had concealed their relationship before. Things were getting more and more complicated. In the end, his Yuan spirit had yet to awaken, and he was in a passive position. He didn't know how to awaken his Yuan spirit, and Nangong-yin and Master Godly Mathematician definitely wouldn't tell him this. He was very depressed. Nangong-yin, this has nothing to do with you. Are you trying to stop me? Nangong-yin snorted and said coldly, "Are you joking with me? Nothing to do with me? Tell me, is this really nothing to do with me?" Master Godly Mathematician's face was gloomy to the extreme, and it was as ugly as it could be. "No one can stop me from achieving the Tao of Chaos." Nangong-yin's voice was very firm, and his aura rose and rolled out, covering the surrounding space. He was very clear that if the other party dared to attack, he would attack without hesitation. Longao didn't say anything, because he still didn't know what the relationship between Nangong-yin and Master Godly Mathematician was. He and Master Godly Mathematician were enemies, there was no doubt about it. As for himself and Nangong-yin, until now Longao still didn't know whether he and Nangong-chen were enemies or friends. If his enemy didn't move, he wouldn't move. "Longao, can we meet Shuang?" Longao was very vigilant, staring at Nangong-yin and Master Godly Mathematician in front of him. In the end, he nodded and gently took Shuang out from his chaotic dantian. Shuang was still unconscious, but her strength had soared again. This was something that Longao couldn't figure out. Shuang. Master Godly Mathematician took a step forward, but was stopped by Nangong-yin. "Master Godly Mathematician, you better not move. Otherwise, even if I die, I will drag you down with me." Shuang's body disappeared. Longao was very confident that even if he wasn't as strong as Master Godly Mathematician, it was impossible for Master Godly Mathematician to enter his chaotic dantian. From the beginning to the end, Han-yin did not dare to say a word. Two peak divine emperors had appeared out of nowhere. If they wanted to kill them, it would be a piece of cake. Yibu? Who do you think you are? How dare you touch the boss's woman? Be careful or I'll swallow you. Blackie was furious and had a fearless expression on his face. Master God Diviner was taken aback. You are? However, Nangong-yin nodded and said, He is Ditian, the primal chaos heaven-devouring beast. Master God Diviner's face flickered, and he backed up 3 paces, glaring at Little Black. Master God Diviner seemed to be very wary of the primordial heaven-devouring beast. I really didn't expect that you would have already found Shuang Shuang and Di Tian before even awakening your own primordial spirit. It seems like your life isn't meant to end. Brat. He waved his hand. After stopping Xiao He, Longao finally opened his mouth and said, Nangong-yin Yibu, things have already reached this point. Although my origin spirit has yet to awaken, I believe that no one can stop me from awakening my origin spirit. Since this is the case, I want to know who I am. What does it have to do with you? He really wanted to know. Longao's intuition told him that things were definitely not that simple. In addition, the battle between him and the 2 of them could start at any time. The 2 of them knew him very well, but he knew nothing about the 2 of them. He definitely couldn't continue to be passive. Nangong-yin smiled and said, Brother Long, I've already said before that you haven't awakened your primordial spirit, so you don't have the right to know. After you awaken your primordial spirit, you will naturally know. It was this again. If it was before, Master God Diviner would definitely keep his mouth shut and wouldn't reveal a single word. But now. Longao, do you really want to know about yourself? That's right. I can tell you, but you have to promise me one thing. How about it? What is it? Longao didn't immediately agree. He wasn't a fool. Before Master God Diviner said anything, he wouldn't agree unless his brain was flooded with water. My condition is very simple. As long as you let me save Shuang Shuang, it will be enough. Ah? Longao was a little confused. He didn't know why Master God Diviner would suddenly make such a request. According to Master God Diviner's expression and impulsiveness when he saw Shuang Shuang, he had already guessed something. The more he guessed, the more he couldn't believe Master God Diviner. Before Longao could speak, Nangong-yin said, Brother Long, you alone can't save Shuang Shuang. But if I join hands with Yibu, we should be able to. How can I believe you too? Not to mention Master God Diviner, even Nangong-yin couldn't choose to believe him. If the 2 of them played some tricks, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. Longao, I can tell you clearly that the reason you can form the primordial spirit of Chaos Lotus is entirely because of Shuang Shuang. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to do it alone. If my guess is right, it won't be long before Shuang Shuang is forcibly drawn into the primordial chaos samsara. Whether she can come out of the primordial chaos samsara is still unknown. Do you really want to see Shuang Shuang fall into eternal damnation? His expression was very serious. He understood Shuang Shuang's situation very well. If it was really as Master God Diviner said, then if something happened to Shuang Shuang, he wouldn't have a good life. I promise you. In the end, Longao agreed. He didn't dare to gamble, and he couldn't afford to gamble. If he lost, he was afraid that he would harm Shuang Shuang. In any case, Longao knew that he couldn't save Shuang Shuang. He hoped that Master God Diviner could save her. As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Nangong-yin said with a smile, Brother Long, I can guarantee you that Shuang Shuang will be fine. Brother Yi will definitely not let anything happen to her. I hope so. Yibu didn't immediately start the treatment. Instead, he said, Longao, I believe you've already guessed that you and I, including Nangong-yin, are actually reincarnations, and we have to awaken our primordial spirits in order to know what happened before. At this time, Nangong Yin's aura suddenly enveloped Han Yin. Han also knew what was going on and didn't dare to move. It seemed that the secret between the three of them wasn't something that she could hear. Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. Previously, he was looking forward to it, but when Master God Diviner really said it, he calmed down. If it wasn't for you, Shuang wouldn't have fallen to her current state. But I didn't expect that after reincarnating, Shuang would still become like this because of you. Longao, I hope that you will leave Shuang forever, because you are not worthy of her. Chapter 2964. You don't have to worry about this, Longao said coldly. He wasn't afraid of Master Godly Mathematician at all. The Tao of Chaos is a realm that all of us dream of. Only by proving the Tao of reincarnation can we surpass the chaos of reincarnation and become truly immortal. Truly immortal and indestructible? Could it be that he wasn't truly immortal now? He seemed to be able to guess Longao's thoughts. The divine mathematician sneered and said, Longao, don't think that just because your primordial spirit and primal chaos Dantian have reached immortality and indestructibility, you are truly immortal and indestructible. I can tell you now that all the warriors in front of the primal chaos samsara cannot achieve true immortality and indestructibility. So that was it. It seemed that he had misunderstood. You entered reincarnation to prove the Tao of Chaos with the help of the chaos of reincarnation? Not you, but us. Including you, no one is unwilling to prove the Tao of Chaos. Without awakening his primordial spirit, he didn't know whether Master Godly Mathematician was telling the truth or not. However, his intuition told him that Master Godly Mathematician was telling the truth. He had entered reincarnation to prove the Tao of Chaos. How many people have entered reincarnation? Longao knew very well that there weren't many people who could enter reincarnation and prove the Tao of Chaos with the help of reincarnation. Forgive me for not being able to tell you this. Nangong shrugged helplessly and said, Same for me. We have already agreed that we can't tell you unless you awaken your primordial spirit. Since that was the case, Longao didn't continue to ask because he knew that it would be a waste of time even if he asked. What's going on with Blackie? Blackie was Dtian, the Chaos Heaven swallowing beast that they were talking about. Dtian is the Chaos Heaven swallowing beast. He is a super chaos divine beast that was born at the beginning of the chaos. He has the power to destroy the world. Back then, you tricked him into becoming your subordinate. Nangong seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he swallowed it. He sneered in his heart. Longao definitely wouldn't choose to believe what Yibu said now. I'm going to start saving Shuang now. That's it? Master God Diviner's words were as good as nothing. Longao looked at him coldly and said, Do you think I'm an idiot? You dare to go back on your word? He chose to ignore it. Yibu, you and I are both smart people. There is no need to be so wishy-washy. You and Brother Nangong are unwilling to take action. If my guess is correct, you two must want something from me. Or perhaps, I am the key to you two proving the great Tao of primal chaos. Am I right? Seeing that the two of them did not say anything, Longao already knew that his guess was probably right. The more this was the case, the more fearless he was. After thinking about it, I don't want to trouble you with Shuang's matter. Goodbye. You want to leave? You're courting death. With his father's help, Yi Dugu's cultivation base had already broken through to the Divine Emperor realm. He did not take the other party seriously at all. Yi Dugu thought to himself that if he could take advantage of this opportunity to kill Longao, he would be able to save himself the trouble of awakening Longao's primordial spirit. By then, Longao's cultivation base would definitely be above his. Just thinking about it, he knew what the consequences would be. The space domain crazily surged out. Just as Yi Dugu was about to attack Longao, the situation suddenly changed. With a muffled groan, Yi Dugu's body was sent flying. If Yi Bu had not caught him in time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Nangong-in, what is the meaning of this? The godly mathematician's face instantly turned cold, but he still did not take action. If someone had dared to touch his son before his primordial spirit had awakened, even if the other party was a divine emperor expert, he would not have the slightest fear. He would probably have killed the other party directly. But now, the situation was completely different. His primordial spirit had awakened, and he knew many things that he did not know before. Others might not know about Nangong-in, but how could he not know? If he did not fear Nangong-in, then he must be lying. Endure. Resisting the anger in his heart, the godly mathematician said in an extremely cold voice, Nangong-in, you and I have an agreement. You actually dared to attack my people. Do you want to be my enemy? Remember, without my help, you would not have been able to prove the great Tao of primordial chaos. Yi Dugu was also very frightened. He originally thought that after breaking through to the divine emperor realm, he would be able to dominate the primordial chaos world. But he never thought that Nangong-in would be so strong. He could not even resist one move. If it was not for his father, he would probably be a dead man now. Thinking about it, he felt endless fear. Nangong-yin's face was also not very good. Nangong-in coldly looked at Yi Dugu, who was beside Yi Bu, with a trace of killing intent. He said in a very displeased manner, Yi Bu, although we have an agreement, you just said that no matter who it is, if they dare to obstruct my path, I will kill them. How could the godly mathematician not hear the determination in Nangong-yin's words? He did not continue. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he did not want to completely fall out with Nangong-in. Longao, we will meet again someday. I won't see you off. The godly mathematician did not want to stay a moment longer because he was afraid that if he continued to stay here, he would not be able to control the killing intent in his heart. Whether it was because he was afraid of Nangong-in or because he wanted to prove the great Tao of primordial chaos, he could not attack. Endure, he had to endure. Even if he was very unwilling, he could only quickly leave with Yi Dugu. Looking at the gradually disappearing silhouette, Longao finally felt relieved. Although he was not afraid of the godly mathematician, he was definitely not the opponent of the godly mathematician. He and Xiao He did not care, but if they implicated Han Yin, it would be very troublesome. After all, he could not protect Han Yin forever. Once Han Yin left the primordial chaos Dantian, he could imagine the consequences. Brother Long, there are some things that I cannot tell you. Once we violate the great Tao of primordial chaos, our path of proving the great Tao will become even more difficult. Countless years of waiting, only hoping to be on the same level as the great Tao of primordial chaos. No one is willing to give up. I believe you are the same. Nangong-in clearly did not want to say more. I understand. Brother Long, don't worry. Before you awaken your great Tao of primordial chaos, Yi Bu will not attack you. As for Shuang, you have to treat her as soon as possible. Otherwise, Nangong-in did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. Many thanks. Longao was not an idiot. He was naturally able to understand the meaning in Nangong-yin's words. Regardless of whether he and Nangong-in were enemies or friends, just this matter alone made him truly grateful to Nangong-in. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.